Let's get that in on Wednesday. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Angel Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. No Jamie today. Jamie is traveling as the Blues head out of town again. And, of course, we start off with the Blues from last night. And, guys, it would appear that the Blues of old, unfortunately, returned to the Enterprise Center. Last night, first and foremost, Blues fans, standing ovation for Braden Shen, their former captain. He received a video tribute. It was a touching moment. Well done by Blues fans. Well done by the Blues for putting on the video. Then, of course, he sinks the Blues with an assist, setting up Matthew Barzal's game winner as the Blues fall 4-3. Blues are up 3-0. Thought they went up 4-0 on a goal by Robert Thomas. It was overturned after video review because of Logan Mailloux as he entered the zone offsides. So instead of being up 4-0 Blues, and you would think the game being essentially over, though we've seen the Blues unfortunately blow some major leads this year, it stayed 3-0. Islanders were still alive. And even the Islanders players admitted that the moment changed everything. As a young team, couldn't figure out a way to close it out. And they were severely outshot as well. So it wasn't, even though they were up 3-0, it didn't really feel like the Blues were ever in control of that game.
Yeah, it was one point, I think in the second period or maybe in the third period, it was like the Islanders had doubled the number of shots. And I'm like, oh, well, the Blues are still winning. I don't know how. Like, they're capitalizing on the shots that they are getting. But you did see the tide shift. After that goal was wiped off, you were like, okay, you're still up 3-0. And it just felt like the amount of pressure that the Islanders were putting on from that moment on. And then there was a penalty that I think helped and aided the Islanders as well. So
Booch, the double minor.
Double minor penalty.
That was the second. I thought that was the second turning point. Was the Buchnevich double minor.
You could see that things started to shift at that point. So is it the old Blues? I do think that for, 2.5 periods, 2.25 periods, they played really, really well. And then all of a sudden you kind of felt like, okay, this is a lot of pressure on them. And what I see from this team, just my opinion, when I watch them play, if everything is easy and comfortable, they play really well. It feels like when teams start pressuring them and hitting them and being physical with them, then you start to see a team that kind of wilts away just a little bit, in my opinion. I don't think they have that physical makeup, that mental makeup to continue to push through when they're being pushed against. Mm-hmm. Like, you can go around, you can go under, you can go over, or you can go through. And when teams start trying to go through them, they don't push back to go through as well.
Sure.
And that's how I feel about this team.
Man, despite giving up 4 unanswered goals, I actually didn't mind how they played last night. I thought offensively they were creating things. I know they got severely outshot, but I thought they had some really good opportunities to score. They did score a few times. I think the goals that they gave up were just kind of unfortunate goals. You know, the first one's blocked, and then it goes right to Pajot, who scores. And then Booch, of course, the double minor that leads to 2 goals. But, you know, Jack Finley is right there in the blue paint in the crease, and, you know, his stick ends up touching the puck. It goes in, and then that allows the Islanders to keep that other power play, and then they score again. But even after that, I still had faith, for whatever weird reason, that the Blues could still win the game. Even when they went to overtime, I'm like, all right, well, the Islanders are 9-0 in overtime.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I thought that the Blues offensively were creating things, and defensively they did a pretty good job at stopping the Islanders from really gaining any offensive zone pressure. I mean, throughout the third period, the Islanders were just flipping the puck out of the zone. Mm-hmm. They were just trying to get out of their own zone. And, credit the Islanders. Their goaltending was really good after the 3 goals were scored. And there was a chance that, that Sorokin could have been pulled. Yeah. And because that goal didn't count, they kept him in there. And he's a pro. He's a really good goaltender. He did a good job, made some huge stops for the Islanders. But, I thought the Blues played better than maybe what some may think. So did the old Blues return? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I think you could make the argument, yes, they did, because they blew a 3-goal lead. But I did think it looked better than what we've seen in the past when they have blown leads.
Sure.
And I know it's weird to say because they got outshot. They blew a 3-goal lead. They did all these things to lose the game. But I thought that there were entertaining moments out of the offense.
It looked different to you.
It looked different to me.
Even though it was a loss, even though the results were the same, the process was different. It looked different.
It
to you.
looked different.
I could buy that. I mean, look,
a loss is a loss, but you did gain a point, and you actually gained some ground in the standings for those that want to make the playoffs, and then you lose the game for those that ultimately want to lose. So you don't gain the 2 points.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I mean, that game really did boil down to the Blues, instead of going up 4-0, it being 3-0, Islanders still alive. And then the sequence of events after the Buchnevich double minor, 3-1 as the Islanders scored a goal late in the second. 3-2 off the power play, 3-3 on the power play, the one-timer by Bo Horvat, and the Blues had control until that penalty.
Right.
And then that 4-minute power play, huge momentum shift, completely flipped the game. And as I said before, even the Islanders fans were talking about how that moment, the offsides challenge, that moment flipping everything. Patrick Waugh even said that they were about to pull Sorokin, which is what Marshy had said. So it's unfortunate with the Blues playing as well as they have of late that they lost in that manner, but it was also a reminder that there's still a long way to go here when it comes to looking at this roster and how this roster eventually comes together.
I like the way that the young play. I thought Lindstein played really well. He was very active in the offensive zone, jumping up, trying to make plays. Here's the thing. I know they lost. I was entertained. I was watching the entire game. I was locked in on the couch watching that entire game. As a hockey fan, as a Blues fan, I was really entertained by what I watched last night, despite being upset that they did give up a 3-goal lead.
So what you're essentially saying is that if that was the type of loss, say for, of course, the big blown lead.
Yeah.
But if that effort had been on display since the start of the season, you would feel much better about the direction of the team.
I think so. Now, Joel Hofer, and I know we'll probably get to this later, but Joel Hofer is unbelievable. It seems like this team is just better with him in between the pipes.
Well, I think it feels that way because they are.
Yeah, and he has a huge reason for that. I mean, he made some great saves last night, and the Islanders almost scored in regulation, and he had to make a save with his mask to take it to overtime. He was incredible last night. I thought that the Blues played better than what they have shown us prior to the Olympic break, despite again giving up 4 unanswered goals.
Right.
I don't know. It's a weird feeling. It's a weird feeling to have because, again, you gave up 4 unanswered goals. You're up 3-0. That's a terrible loss.
It's been a weird season, to say the least. All right, 64 games in. They're 25, 29, and 10. They've got 60 points overall. They are 5-4-1 over their last 10. Streak goes back down to 1, obviously, in terms of loss. But this season becomes about evaluation.
Well, you're 7 points out of a playoff spot.
Yeah. Are you saying that you're only 7 games?
You're 7 points out of a playoff spot. You think this team wants to say, we want to get that top pick? No, they're going to try and win.
No, the team is not.
You can see they're playing a different brand of hockey.
The players and the coaching staff.
Do you believe that they're going to make the playoffs?
I believe that they're going to make it interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's other factors, but the teams in front of them, they're nothing special. I mean, Seattle's the second wild card. Their goal differential's -11. They're not a great team. The Blues beat them twice.
That's kind of the illusion of that wild card too, though. The teams aren't that great.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of last year's Major League Baseball season in the National League.
That's exactly what I was
teams
thinking.
Who wants it?
Yeah.
And the Reds made it.
And so that is exactly why I just said what I said, because if you're watching the Cardinals, at no point outside of May did you feel as though that was a playoff team. But the standings provided a bit of an illusion that mathematically you could still get in, but if you were watching that team, you had no shot.
Well, it's not just for me. I can stomach you saying that they're 7 points out if they were the team right under the Seattle Kraken.
Right.
When you have 5 teams in front of you and you're still 7 points behind, like, to me, it's damn near impossible because there are so many, like, you basically got to have 4 or 5 teams lose on a nightly basis for you to jump them. And that's the same thing I felt with the Cardinals. Like, they're only 3.5 games out. Yeah, but there's 6 teams in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's damn near impossible when you have that many teams. If it's just 7 points and you're the team, even if it's Seattle Kraken as the second wild card and the Kings right above you, that is more manageable in my opinion. I'm not saying it's impossible. You say they're 6 points or 7 points out of a wild card spot. They're also 3 points out from being second to dead last in the division. I mean, in the conference. So, yeah,
It's a weird thing.
Last night was a rough loss because you played so well for the majority of that game, and that's kind of what I was talking about, alluding to when things don't go right or when bad things happen. Really good teams don't care. Like, you understand in life and in sports, bad things are going to happen. You don't dwell on it. You don't focus on it. You bounce back up and you get ready to go, and you finish that game with a win. Now, the amount of pressure that the Islanders were putting on you, they had 49 shots on goal. Like, it was.
I don't think a ton of those were like high danger shots, though. Not all of those were high danger.
It's just the number, the sheer volume of we're going to shoot the puck at your goalie and we're going to force him to play his butt off all night long, which he did. Like, Joe Hofer, I mean, he gave up he gave up essentially 2 goals. One goal was an own goal, and you kind of Finley, tipped it in on accident. That's tough. The game-winning goal was, I would have loved to see Jordan Kyrou put a body on him. Like, I would have loved to see Jordan Kyrou not just, I mean, he got shook. It just, okay,
he got walked.
Back of the net. Yeah. So, yes, Joe Hofer played his butt off, but it is a team game, and you do have to rely on all pieces, all parties to play at their best every chance they get, every opportunity that they have. And I think to lose that game is deflating, especially with how well you played to start it off.
Yeah, I think the push and pull for me right now is I want to see these young players play well and succeed because they are the future of this team. And I think they are playing a more entertaining brand of hockey than what we've witnessed throughout the rest of the season. So I like that. I like watching that as a hockey fan. I understand, and I was in the camp of, hey, the organic tank. Like, let's get this one of these top picks. And if that is the direction that this team ultimately goes in the rest of the way, well, I'm not going to be mad about that. I'm also not going to be mad if they find themselves in the playoffs.
Sure.
So, now, will they get bounced by Colorado? Probably.
I would say so.
But you never know. With a hot goaltender, anything's possible.
Very true. Absolutely. You believe that, too.
He's sick, man.
Yeah.
Haven't you?
No, it's cool.
You've been here long enough.
Yeah.
He's a sicko.
I mean, I know he believes in that.
And a psycho.
He should believe in that in terms of, like, the goaltender.
Look at his face.
But he believes in that in terms of, like, relating it also to the Blues.
This sweet lad, man.
Well, sorry. It'd be cool if the team made the playoffs.
I think it'd be great.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But
it'd be great.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Marsh, are you rocking those glasses moving forward, man? You look good. You look studious.
Thank you. Yeah, these are my my blue light glasses. I'm staring at screens all day, so I figured, why don't I get some blue light glasses so my eyes don't, ultimately go bad.
Sure.
By the time I'm, whatever age.
Right.
So say what you're going to say. By the time he's our age.
No, I was not going to say that. I was going to say 60. I was going to say 60.
I think he was going to shoot higher.
Right at you.
I was shooting higher.
He's by the time I'm, you guys' age.
No.
That's funny because you're older than me. Much older.
Really? I'm a year older.
A year. Almost exactly a year. Speaking of the eyes, I thought I lost my eyesight for a little while when Carey first got in because he brought in his gym bag.
Oh man!
And there was a shirt in there.
I left it in there from last night.
I went blind. The smell alone.
It was rough.
Made me go blind.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
I said, I left that shirt in there from the gym last night.
You work hard. I know.
I do work hard. It was bad.
All right. So speaking of our guy Marshy here, he called one sports team and I quote, a bunch of scumbags multiple times today. We'll tell you who that team is that he was calling out. Next on 101 ESPN. So Andrew Marsh, both in our Fast Lane group chat and as soon as he got into the office today, was scolding one professional sports team, calling them scumbags.
Somebody on the text line thinks it's the Miami Heat.
It is not the Miami Heat. We'll get to Bam Adebayo's game last night a little bit later in the show. No, the team that he was calling scumbags were the team that we were praising the last couple of days for going all in. Well, they're still all in. They're still all in on a pass rusher. Just not that pass rusher. The Baltimore Ravens, as we found out last night in a shocking event, decided to pull out of the Maxx Crosby trade. They backed out before the new league year, meaning officially the trade never existed. Because again, as you probably are well aware, the league has the legal tampering period before the new year actually begins. Because teams are already making deals before the league started. They figured, let's just have this legal tampering period. So officially, the deal never existed. But the Ravens did, at one point, agree to send 2 first-round picks to the Raiders for Maxx Crosby. Crosby said goodbye to Raiders fans, believed that he was a Raven, flew to Baltimore for a physical, and that's when the Ravens decided to cancel the deal. Within hours, Baltimore also signed Trey Hendrickson, who gets the same amount of money that Maxx Crosby was going to receive from the Ravens based on the money that was still left on his current deal. And this whole situation really angered our guy, Andrew Marsh. So, Marsh, without further ado, go ahead and slam those Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I think they're scumbags. Are you kidding me? Oh, Trey Hendrickson. Oh, he's available. We'll just get him. Maxx Crosby, you failed your physical despite everyone knowing that he was injured at the end of the last season.
And major surgery. Major
surgery. Everybody knew essentially what was happening with Maxx Crosby. But because Trey Hendrickson's still available, why don't we sign him at basically the same deal,
right?
Same amount of money, and we keep our 2 first-round draft picks.
Now, they had an opportunity to sign Trey Hendrickson anyways.
They did.
So do you think that they wanted to make sure they had one player completely secured before turning around and signing Hendrickson? Like, is that where your head's at in terms of calling them scumbags?
Yes, I do believe that they wanted, hey, at least we have this guy here. And the only reason I say that, and I think that they've done this before. Mm-hmm. They've done this before. And Will Compton, part of Bustin' with the Boys, he lined it out about this situation that I'm about to bring up. But, he was talking about a former teammate of his, Ryan Grant, who was with Washington at the time. He signed a deal with the Ravens back in 2018. And then I believe it was March 15th, which was a Thursday, because I have the calendar pulled up, in 2018, March 15th, it was a Thursday, Michael Crabtree becomes available because the Raiders released him. And then on that same day, Ryan Grant failed his physical despite being healthy. Mm-hmm. And they said his ankle, he had a bum ankle. So he fails his physical. I believe they gave him around $29 million for 4 years. And he fails his physical the day that Michael Crabtree becomes available. And then the following day, Michael Crabtree is now a Baltimore Raven and signed for less money.
Sure.
Again, they can do that, right? But this is a trend now. This is something that they've done before.
Carey,
so that leads me to believe that they're just scumbags.
Where are you on this?
I mean, I don't know the extent of Maxx Crosby's injury. Do I feel like they probably, maybe the money that Trey Hendrickson was asking for was more than they were willing to pay at the time, and that number came down. We saw that Trey hadn't really had anything going on. It doesn't seem like there were no reports of him visiting or getting close to a contract or signing with someone at that point. So maybe his asking price came down, and when you look at the numbers, you say, they're essentially the same amount of money that you'll be paying both of those players, and I don't have to give up those draft picks.
Sure.
Is there something wrong with Maxx Crosby's knee? I don't know. That's the part where, that's up for it's subjective. It's their own opinion as to whether or not they believe he was more injured than they thought. I do know that they said it was a meniscus tear, not just like something that they had to clean up, which the timetable for return probably was much longer, or maybe a little bit longer than they wanted or were expecting. Who knows? Maybe they're lying their asses off, or maybe they're telling the truth about they just didn't feel like it was a good deal for them. And if we're being honest, we talk about it all the time. We say it's a business. It is a business. Maxx Crosby is still going to be paid. He's going to be paid with the Raiders. It actually still works out well for both teams. The Ravens get their 2 number 1 picks back, and they sign a defensive end, maybe not to the caliber of a Maxx Crosby, because I think Trey Hendrickson is maybe a couple of years older, but he has led the league in sacks in a season. Like he's had a really good career,
Yeah.
and he's also well known in that division. So he knows exactly, the offensive tackles that he'll be playing against. He's been there for a number of years with the Bengals. I don't have that much of a problem with it because I understand that
It's business.
It's business,
Right.
and if you're trying to regulate how someone conducts their business, you're probably going to be knocking at a wall and knocking yourself out.
I think, I totally get it. Like they can do this. This is like they're not being penalized for it. Like
Right.
they can do this. So I totally get it. And if this is what's best for their franchise, totally get it. Totally
You're
get
calling out. You're calling out not they broke a rule. You're calling them out for
The
kind
integrity
of
part of it.
integrity.
Right.
Morally, it's a moral issue for you.
We had a trade in place on Friday. Free agency starts. All these other teams go out and go get the things that they need, thinking that Maxx Crosby is unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's available again. So
Right.
maybe there was one team that really wanted him, and now they can't.
Yeah, because they've already allocated cap funds and they moved on. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the part that bothers me.
So Carey's right. We ultimately don't know what happened, but here's my feeling on it. The Ravens had serious buyer's remorse. They got to a point where they realized that they were about to fork over 2 first-round picks when it comes to a player with risk. And this is, as everybody's mentioned, national hosts have mentioned it, we mentioned it at the time, this is an organization that has not handed out even 1 first-round pick for a veteran, let alone 2. Crosby's 28. I love the guy. I think he's one of the premier pass rushers in the league, somebody that you would want on your football team.
Definitely.
But at some point, the Ravens became overly concerned with the fact that he had knee surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and from how I don't think it was a scope. I think it was actual surgery.
I was going to say a scope,
Correct.
but that's why I stopped and said surgery.
Those are two totally different things.
Right.
So I think if it was a scope, you're probably like, oh, okay, they repaired whatever need. They cleaned it up.
Yeah.
He's good to go. But you actually cut his knee. And I think he had I don't know if I don't know the actual, medical procedure there, but I thought it was a full meniscus tear.
Mm-hmm.
So you cut into his knee, and that could be concerning for, that organization. Is it right? Are they lying? I don't know. I honestly don't know if they're lying. If they felt like
they're
it was
protected by the fact that he had a physical.
He had to pass the physical.
Right.
And so, they made it go in the direction that they felt best. Maybe they are being honest in that actual assessment of his knee, or maybe they just felt like, damn, we can get a player of your caliber and keep our 2 first-round picks. Why the hell would I do that?
Bingo. That is what I think happened. It's my
possibly.
opinion. It's my opinion.
And
we
it's
have no
possible
idea.
that could have happened.
But my opinion, they got in a room. Somebody said, hey, just throwing this out there, what if Crosby's knee limits him moving forward here, and he's not the player we're acquiring? And then somebody said, what we could do, though, instead of risking 2 first-round picks and money, why don't we just risk the money? And that's how you wind up with Trey Hendrickson, and you back out of the deal. And again, the Ravens still had the opportunity to do so because the trade wasn't official and wasn't going to be official until the first of the league year today.
So weird.
Again, this is the legal tampering part. That's what happened here.
Yeah. And they can do this.
They can do so. Yeah.
I just don't like it.
So Hendrickson, I don't think he's Maxx Crosby, but he's still a pretty good fit.
Yeah.
And the Ravens are still going to wind up okay here. What happens with Maxx Crosby? Because the other component, and I wonder if Crosby, I don't know if he has a leg to stand on when it comes to maybe filing an injunction, but as Marsh noted, he thinks he's going to be a Raven. Other teams think he's going to be a Raven.
Right.
And now he's back with the Raiders, where maybe you had another team or two that was going to be bidding for his services that no longer can fit him under the cap. They've moved on, whatever. My question is, do you think he still gets dealt?
If I'm the Raiders, probably not, because you're probably not going to get 2 first-round picks at this point, I would assume
you've lost your leverage.
You've lost some leverage. So I would assume that if you're the Raiders, you're just like, well, hell, we still have done really well this offseason in terms of adding free agents. We just added Maxx Crosby back to our roster. Financially, I don't know how that works in terms of, where they are on the cap. I'm sure it's going to be much closer than it was a week ago because you had gotten that money off of your cap. But I think you keep him on the roster and you move forward and you add a Fernando Mendoza and all of the things you're going to do in this offseason, in this upcoming draft, and become a better team. Like that was your plan to begin with.
Marsh, you had noted the Ravens had done this before. You mentioned the Ryan Grant deal.
Yeah.
I looked this up. In 2020, former Ram Michael Brockers also had his contract canceled, and then he returned to the Rams. So it wasn't just Ryan Grant, it was also Michael Brockers.
So there's a pattern here.
There's a bit of a pattern here with the Ravens.
I'm sure it happened. I'm sure it's happened before with other teams too.
Sure. If one team does it, there's going to be other teams that do it too.
But obviously they're the team that we're highlighting.
It's noteworthy now. Yeah. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. Marsha, do you want to call an audible here? Do a quick what's trending?
No. We got to no.
Okay. So Marsh wasn't just fired up about the Ravens thing. I too am fired up about this next topic. How embarrassed should Team USA be when it comes to this World Baseball Classic? They're doing some backpedaling now, but I don't think they can save themselves. It's next on 101 ESPN.
All right, Missouri, you now have the chance to win the owner of Circus Sports, his wallet. That's right, Derek Stevens, my friend and the owner of Circus Sports. He has an incredible contest right now for all residents of Missouri. All you got to do is enter to win, and you got to find the Circus Sports app on the App Store or the Google Play Store. It's white. The logo is white. That is for the state of Missouri. Click on that, and then check out all the information on winning Derek Stevens' wallet. It's pretty simple, really. All you do is wager $100. That earns you a share. If you wager $1,000, that earns you 2 shares. And if you wager $5,000, that gives you a 3rd share. And you can bet on anything from pro sports to college sports. So many things going on right now. Straight bets to futures bets, doesn't matter. Circus Sports is right there with you along the way. And there's no strings attached to this at all. It is $250,000 in cash. No stipulations, no special rules. You just wager a minimum of $100 and you have a chance to get your share of Derek Stevens' wallet. For more information regarding all of this, you can always visit circusports.com. Again, that's circusports.com. Must be 21 and over and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues fall to the Islanders last night in overtime. 4-3 the final. The Blues had a 3-0 lead, and then the Islanders scored 4 unanswered goals. So the Blues only pick up 1 point. In the standings, the Blues currently sit 7 points out of a playoff spot, and they are 3 points from being the second worst team in the Western Conference. The Blues will take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow, and we'll have all the coverage for you right here on 101 ESPN. But we got to dive into an upset in the World Baseball Classic that took place last night. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Ton of respect for Italy. It's weird. We want to win. We want to win this game, even though our tickets punched to the quarterfinals, because Mexico plays Italy actually tomorrow. So the way the schedule lines up, this is an important game for us. Nolan McLean will start. He's on the bump and he's good to go.
Stupid.
Yeah, that was Mark DeRosa, Team USA's manager. He may have misunderstood the tournament standings, and that mistake potentially affected how he managed the game. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. Because of that, Team USA lost 8-6 to Italy. Turns out the Italians can play baseball better, a little better than hockey. The U.S. failed to clinch a guaranteed quarterfinal spot. Their advancement now depends on other games. Now, DeRosa claims that he kind of misspoke. But if you listen to that audio, he mentions how our game doesn't really matter. We got a spot. No, you don't. No, you don't.
So go ahead.
Do you want me to add more backdrop, or just want to get into this?
Keep going.
Okay. Earlier in the day, DeRosa had appeared on that MLB network.
Yeah.
That's where the audio came from. So during the segment, he said Team USA had already clinched a quarterfinal spot. That was incorrect. Crucially, no one on the show corrected him. The host, Harold Reynolds, and Matt Viscursion didn't challenge the claim, so the incorrect statement went out publicly without correction. So, Team USA loses. And believing, if we just take a step back, believing the team was essentially safe, DeRosa rested several of his stars. So not in the starting lineup. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper. Mm-hmm. Bryce Harper, who's been good at baseball since birth. Mm-hmm. Alex Bregman. Mm-hmm. And Bryce Terang. He also started Nolan McLean, one of the least experienced pitchers on the roster. Oh, okay. Italy quickly jumped out to an 8-0 lead. Now, the U.S. did rally 8-6, but the result is Team USA no longer controls its own fate in the World Baseball Classic. What in the hell? Don't you dare, Carey. I see your face right now. You're gonna defend this a little bit.
Here's my thing. As a head coach, you have assistant coaches. People assume that the assistant coaches' jobs are to, train the players, help them.
No,
it's to assist the head coach.
Yeah,
that is your job.
Right.
You are an assistant to the head coach. So when head coach does say something wrong, somebody else gotta, coach, that ain't right. We can't. So that means everybody was clueless, or they just chose not to say something for fear. Oh, who knows? But I would assume that they were just clueless and didn't have a clue and didn't have an understanding of how the rules and how the pool play was to go about, and they blew it. And as a head coach, because you are the head coach or the manager in this instance, it all falls back on you because you are supposed to know everything. Even though you never know everything.
It's your fault.
It's his fault.
It's his fault.
Let's make no mistake about it.
But you're right. He should have had some
someone
backup.
should be able to assist you and make sure that you don't make these mistakes because your job as an assistant is to assist the head coach. That's your job, to make that person look in the best light possible. And then hopefully when you become a head coach or a manager, your assistants do the same for you.
Sure.
And everybody failed him. But at the end of the day, he failed. Oh, man.
He failed America.
I didn't want to say that, Anthony.
No, I said it for you.
I didn't want to say he failed all of the USA.
No.
But here we are. You're happy, though.
Hockey team didn't fail.
No, they didn't.
Those players didn't fail. Coach didn't fail.
It's weird, man. It's unfortunate.
So the controversy, of course, it gets even worse here because they removed the video, or they at least attempted to.
What?
Yes.
Good thing I have it.
So by removing the clip, MLB Network basically said, you know what, we're going to turn a mistake into a bigger controversy. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm going overboard here. But this does, in my opinion, feel even bigger when you have pitchers that do not want to pitch for Team USA. I understand why. I do. I understand that if you're Scooble and you've got a big contract on the line, that you might not want to pitch for Team USA in the World Baseball Classic, get injured, and sacrifice millions of dollars in the process. I'm not naive, right? It's not lost on me. But it does feel, in conjunction with this error, that Team USA is like, it's kind of secondary for us, no big deal. Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about this.
Yeah.
And it pisses me off, especially coming off the Olympics.
When do you think he realized, oh, man, this game actually matters?
When
because
somebody told him.
Yeah, he had Clayton Kershaw warming up in the bullpen before Mason Miller, and then Mason Miller ended up coming in. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that was late in the game, too.
Right.
That was real late in the game.
And look, I'm not, again, I'll use the same phrase. It's not lost on me that unlike managing a Major League Baseball team, Mark DeRosa has to balance MLB clubs protecting their pitchers, strict pitch limits, restrictions on entering mid-inning, egos on a star-filled roster. I'm not overlooking that. But you, at the very least, you or somebody on your staff has to say, hey, guess what, pal? This game still matters.
It's your job.
Correct.
Like you signed up for it.
Exactly.
It's your job. Like, you're supposed to know. And if you don't know, you're supposed to hire people or have people around you that do know.
Yes.
It's someone's job to know everything that you don't know. As crazy as that sounds, somebody has to, hey, coach, no. We got to win this one.
Right.
What do you mean? Here, look at the standings. If we do this and if we do what you said, this scenario could happen. Oh, crap, I misspoke. And then you get back out there and you say the correct thing before you play the game. You play the game. Because what do you do, Anthony? You play to
win. You play to win the game.
Well, how about the team apparently were, they were telling stories and celebrating, and the players were dragging, quote unquote, dragging.
I.e., they went out the night before? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, I hate it.
Maybe.
They were dragging.
It's possible they went out the night before?
Because they maybe thought
that the game didn't matter. That's why I missed the 90s, man. It always mattered. All-star games mattered. Playing 82 games in the NBA mattered. Yeah, I mean, guys played hard every single night. Well, it's a different mindset.
Even went out the night before, still played hard.
Still played hard.
And here's the thing. Team Italy has they got some players on their team.
Sure.
It's not like you're taking on whoever.
Hockey? No. Basketball? Not really. Baseball? Soccer? Or football? Yeah. The Italians can play a little bit. Yeah. Maybe DeRosa got confused. He
clearly got confused.
No. I mean, he watched the Italians in hockey in the Olympics. He goes, we're fine.
What? That's not smart.
He said, you know what? I don't think these guys are good athletes. We'll rest half our lineup.
It's just embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. So we'll see if the U.S. can advance.
Do you?
They have to rely now on Italy beating Mexico.
Yeah, and like this whole run differential, it's not even run differential. It's some weird tiebreaker thing that I think is stupid to begin with. But this whole situation is crazy. I obviously I want the United States to move on, but it is one of those like things where maybe there needs to be a lesson needs to be learned here type thing.
Sure.
I lean more. It's probably like 95 to 5% in terms of I want the U.S. to move on.
Right. You want it to be a mistake that didn't hurt them.
Yes.
But if it has to be something that wakes everybody up, then so be it.
The real story is this pitcher from Czechia.
Yeah, he's awesome. That guy, I think he's an electrician
by day, Anthony. And he gave 4 2/3 shutout innings versus Japan. This man took PT, he took time off to participate in the World Base. It's a family in Czechia that doesn't have lights on to even watch him pitch. But he's there. They went to their friend's house, and they're going to wait till he gets back home to get to work.
Absolutely.
But that's the story.
Yeah,
I don't think he even touches 80 miles per hour.
Doesn't matter. He's pitching out there, Marsh. He's an artist.
Art of pitching.
He's an artist.
He knows it. Now that's.
How about the kid, too? Who's a 17-year-old that sawed off Judge?
Oh, yeah, I did see that as well.
Yeah.
Who is he playing for?
He's with Brazil.
Brazil?
I believe he is.
Imagine.
DR, one of the, yeah.
I thought it was the Dominican
DR as
Republic,
well.
too.
No, it was Brazil.
It was Brazil?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 17 years old. He's sawing off Judge.
Yeah,
How about that?
he is, I believe, a top 40 prospect in the upcoming draft.
I would think so.
I think he's from Georgia. He's a high schooler in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the country of Georgia? Or
No, the state
of Georgia.
The state of Georgia.
Okay. all right.
Questions.
Yeah. It's questions you got to ask. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays people, if you have any ties to a certain country, you're eligible to play for them. So
Right.
sometimes you got to look this stuff up.
And good thing you did. Unlike
I did, yeah. I was
DeRosa
like,
and his
who is
team.
this guy?
Yeah. Good thing you did that. DeRosa and his team, they weren't looking up anything last
They
night.
didn't pay attention to anything, huh?
No, sir. All right. How should we all feel about Bam Adebayo's 83-point game last night? I feel like there's some mixed emotions here. And I know one person that is a massive Kobe Bryant fan, and he's in this room. So we're going to ask Carey about how he feels about Bam's big night. Next on 101 ESPN.
Points. Mama, we feel your joy. The second highest scoring game in NBA history, second only to Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game in Hershey, Pennsylvania against the New York Knicks when he was playing for Philadelphia. 83 points for Bam Adebayo.
All right, so that was the scene last night. So, again, second highest. You just heard the audio. Bam Adebayo scored 83 points for the Heat last night against the Wizards. Second highest scoring game in NBA history, passing Kobe Bryant's famous 81-point game, behind only Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. But the reaction has been mixed, to say the least, because the game had some unusual circumstances, including a controversial ending. So late in the game, the Heat intentionally fouled the Wizards repeatedly. This stopped the clock, and it also gave Adebayo more possessions to score. So the game was already decided. Critics say that the Heat were stat padding to chase the record. Well, of course they were. Some people have criticized not only Miami, but, of course, Washington for barely trying.
I mean, start there. Let's start there. I was going to say that. Like, Washington barely has a pulse. Like, what are they doing? Like, you allow, at some point, this is what, like, I love the NBA. I love basketball. It is one of my favorite. It is my favorite sport. Or it used to be. Like, I cannot stomach
after last night
the lack of intensity or the lack of competitiveness. At some point, you gotta, man. You're not gonna keep scoring points on us,
right?
And they sent him to the foul line 43 times. But
which was a huge difference, by the way, from Kobe's.
Way different.
Who did most of his damage from the field.
But none of those fouls were, hey, man, stop shooting the ball and trying to add to your stats. Mm-hmm. It was, oops, sorry, got my hand caught in the cookie jar. It's not, I'm going to clothesline the hell out of you, and you might want to get him out of the game. And I don't promote violence, on a basketball court or a football field, not unless it's between the whistles. But at some point, you got to have some pride about what you're doing.
Seriously.
Washington, I don't even know. I was going to call them the Nets. I was going to call them the Capitals.
The Bullets.
It doesn't matter. The Capitals would have played more competitive last night on the basketball court than the Wizards did.
Yeah.
So let's start there. I'm looking at. I think scoring 80 points in a basketball game is amazing. The team you're playing against obviously didn't compete. They were not there to compete. They just had to field a team and had to have 5 guys on the court at all times, and that's what they did. Comparing Bam's 83 to Kobe's 81, Kobe, when he scored 81, they were down damn near 20 at one point in that game to the Raptors. Like, it was a competitive, I need to do this for us to win. Mm-hmm. And as you just pointed out, the Heat were giving Bam more opportunities to score and to pass the ball. And that, to me, is not in the spirit of the game. Like, what? And I love Eric Spoelstra. I think he's a hell of a coach. I think he's a Hall of Fame coach. I love his story. He started in the video room, cutting up film, and became a head coach, an NBA champion, and will be in the Hall of Fame as an NBA coach. I think he's done an outstanding. But I don't like that aspect of it. At 60 points and you're up by 20, like, okay, dude. Like, right. I'd love for you, but it's not natural. It's not organic. Mm-hmm. I'm actually putting you in a position to do something that, if the game calls for it, cool. If not, you can sit your ass down and watch the rest of the game.
It feels cheap. And I hate to say that because, look, no matter what, it goes down on the record book as Bam Adebayo is going to be the second leading scorer in a game in NBA history, period. Kobe now moves to 3, so that's in the record. It feels cheap, though. And, Carey, I couldn't agree with you more about the state of the NBA. I thought this was yet another black eye on the NBA for not being competitive. Yeah. In fact, we were going to have an entire segment dedicated to this very topic a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know what happened. I think we had some breaking news that day or whatever, but this reminds me of why I asked to do that segment. Part of the problem with the NBA is not just tanking; it's a competition problem. You don't have rivalries. You don't have players and teams that hate each other. You got the damn Wizards out there saying, "Go for it, man. It's all good."
You become a cheerleader.
Yes.
Like
You're a professional team.
The ball hit off their finger, and they told the coach, "Hey, coach,
Right.
It's on me.
It's on me.
They gave up a home run, and we're giving.
I want to see history tonight.
giving handshakes to the guy rounding the bases."
Right.
Like for me, it's just I love basketball, man, and I love it when it's played the right way. I think it's awesome that Bam scored 83 points. I do, but to manufacture certain scenarios that's like a player, missing a shot to get a triple double so he can get the extra rebound.
Right.
Like that. I think Ricky Davis did that some years ago. Like shot it up there, missed it, and got the rebound. Oh, rebound. Ooh. That to me, like that's not how you play the game, man. And I think, again, you score 83 points, hats off to you. It's a hard-ass night. You played well. But Washington, that's on film.
Right.
Like, that's the part that I think that they don't not that they don't understand, but when you watch Kobe Bryant, you still see Jalen Rose wasn't happy to be a part of that 81-point scoring performance for Kobe. He was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I can't stop him. I'm trying my best.
Right.
And a lot of those, he jokes about, like, a lot of those points was on me. And I wish they weren't. Because that's something that is always going to live forever. You're on that Washington Wizards team. That's going to live forever. People are going to see you be non-competitive, non-responsive, no effort, no will or desire. Like that's not sports, man. No. That's not at the professional level. That's the exact opposite. That's the try hard that we were talking about yesterday. Like, yeah, you should always.
Yeah.
And that should be your baseline.
This isn't an apples to apples comparison, but for some reason I think of the baseball unwritten rules. And this is, again, it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but it does go back to compete for me. I never, no matter what level of baseball I was playing, especially as I got, further and further and further, as I got older and the level of competition got higher, I never got upset like some of my teammates when a team was up big and still stealing. Throw his ass out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're a middle infielder, maybe your knee goes into his jaw once, something like that.
Yeah.
You stop them. I hate that. If you're in Little League, it's different. Now you're just being a Diamondback. But if you're at the high school level, college level, professional level, you can police the game. It's about competing. The Wizards last night were just walking corpse.
We're here. I'm here so I don't get fined.
It's terrible.
You would think that a night like that would be something that could catapult the NBA.
Right.
And it seemed like it did the complete opposite.
Right.
Like, this is why people don't care for the NBA and where it's at right now.
As much, yeah. The sport is still popular, clearly.
For sure.
The league is still popular, clearly. But I think you're losing fans. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN, not just because of that, but everything else going on, including you don't know if you're going to see your star player on your favorite team perform if you go to the game.
I wonder if Bam even plays the next game.
Probably not.
Probably not. He needs to rest up. Too tired. NBA.
Yeah, totally. I hear you. All right. By the way, Carey, I was thinking of you. There was one of those videos that was done with Jack Hughes when he got injured in the gold medal game. Mm-hmm. And, he loses a tooth, gets hammered up against the board, stays in, scores the game winner. And whoever it was did a he juxtaposed that with LeBron hurting his finger. or maybe it was Anthony Davis hurting his finger. It was one of those guys. I think it was Davis hurting his finger and being out for the year. I couldn't help but think of you and how you often call NBA players soft.
Man.
Yep. All right. Should one Cardinals pitcher become part of the core moving forward? Throw out the name. It may surprise you. That's next on 101 ESPN. You know, when you're investing in something as visible and as important as your front door, you want it done right, especially if it's a custom project. That's why I highly recommend going with Mosby Building Arts. They're not just about bathroom remodels or kitchen remodels or basement remodels, and of course they could do all that for you as well. But when it comes to even what you might consider a smaller project in comparison to, again, a bathroom or kitchen remodel, Mosby does it right. Here's a 5-star online review from a homeowner in De Pere who had Mosby replace their front door. Quote, every step of the way, Mosby was there to help us through whatever obstacles came our way while replacing our front door. It was a custom job within a custom job, they were up for the task when others could not get us what we wanted. They let us know what was happening throughout the process, and their craftsmen always found a way to get us what we wanted. I would strongly recommend them. Customer details, clear communication, craftsmen who don't back down when the project might get a little complicated. That's the Mosby Building Arts difference right there. And that's where experience matters. So if you're thinking about upgrading your front entry or tackling an even bigger project, start at callmosby.com. You could get a free brainstorming session there. Tell them Anthony Stalter from 101 ESPN highly recommended them. They'll love to hear that as well. And then you can see what a 5-star experience looks like with Mosby Building Arts. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. 3:10, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. So, Brandon Kiley, BK, and BK and Ferrario and T-Bone were discussing Dustin May. And this was actually not on the BK and Ferrario show, but it was actually on the Redbird Report. So, it's a podcast that the guys do for 101 ESPN. But they were discussing Dustin May and what it could look like for the Cardinals, depending on how Dustin May performs in the first half of the season. So, again, here is Brandon Kiley on the Redbird Report talking about Dustin May's immediate future.
I'm thrilled by what they're getting out of him. And he's the kind of player that either can get you an absolute haul at the deadline if he becomes this again, or I know people haven't had a whole lot of conversations about this previously because there is some risk involved with his kind of a profile. Man, Dustin May could just be a part of the core. Dustin May is, 26 years old?
28, yeah.
28 years old? You could sign him to a 3 or a 4 year deal. You add him to the core and then either trade him later on, or, man, this guy becomes a quote-unquote veteran presence for your rotation for the next few years, and he stabilizes things in the middle while some of those other players continue to make their way through your minor league system.
I don't hate the idea at all. I think there's some common sense at play here. If he pitches well, you can say, hey, bring him back. Probably you already have him for another year. Although I think that's a player option.
I think it's I thought it was a mutual option.
So either way, players
it might be a player option. But either way, he's gonna re-sign him.
Sure.
Well.
So Carey, but where I'm ultimately at on this, you signed him as a reclamation project, and if he winds up pitching well, you flip him at the deadline. That's the whole.
Why?
Because you're a rebuilding team.
Yeah, but if you're rebuilding and you have what is considered or could be considered or is trending in the ace direction, why would you move on from him if he's only 28 years old?
Because you've got Liam Doyle in your system. You just acquired a buttload of pitching.
You don't like pitching?
I don't want to block my young pitching.
But couldn't he become a part of that? Like, why? You said, okay, well, we have Liam Doyle. Why not have both?
Why not?
You're the one that's always preaching, hey, pitching. If you got a guy that reestablishes himself, and you got him pretty cheap, and he wants to stay here because he loves St. Louis and the zoo is free.
Sure, yeah.
And he's pitching really well. And I don't see a reason why you don't keep him.
I'm also the person that always preaches get these reclamation projects because if you cash, you can cash big at the deadline. And I know he's a pitcher, but why not? Why didn't you keep Brendan Donovan?
Well, because you felt like this team this year was not ready to compete.
Correct.
That doesn't mean.
So why does it change? So why does the conversation change with Dustin May, who's 28?
Well, because if you sign him, the team could be ready to compete in a few years, and he is one of the best pitchers in your rotation, or he's a 2 or a 3 because some of these other guys step up and they become your 1 or 2, and you have a pretty solid rotation.
You also, though, have to inherit the injury risk that comes with Dustin May.
He's past that, Anthony. You think a guy's going to get a piece of salad stuck in his throat again? What are the odds?
I don't know. I mean, it happened once.
Yeah, one and done.
I understand. Again,
He's had all of the surgeries on his elbow you can manage. He's Anthony. Come on, man. Well, once you have Tommy John, you're in the clear. Right?
Oh, you could have it again.
Nah.
If he pitches well and he commands a haul at the deadline, this is a non-conversation to me. I'm sorry. You've been acquiring all this young pitching so that you can develop it so it'll be in-house. I understand the temptation of just, hey, bring him on back. Sign him to a long-term deal. But immediately, the injury risk now comes back into play. Or he pitches his ass off, and you acquire quite a haul for him at the deadline, and you get a ton of value back for signing this guy to pennies on the dollar in the offseason. It has happened before. I know you guys don't like it.
Well, you know what? I see it as, if he pitches well, I see it as a win-win for the Cardinals because they have a couple of different options that they can do. They can take your option where they trade him and hopefully get something good in return, or they could keep him and they have a solid pitcher in their rotation.
Well, that goes back to what BK brought up, which again, it's a logical option.
I don't know what the number is going to be if you decide if he is playing and pitching well. Obviously, you have the mutual agreement. Both parties have to sign off on it. I would assume that if he's pitching well, he's going to want to be a free agent and have an opportunity to get paid on the open market. I don't know what that number would be though. And what number, 3-4 year deal at $25 to $30 million a year, you feel horrible about that? That's about, what did you give Sonny Gray? Was that about the same?
He was
3 years, 96?
No, he was 70-something. I thought he was 75. I thought he was 3 years, 75.
Was it? I'll take a look and see. But if you're paying 3 years for $30 million, 3 years, $90 million, is that awful to you? For an ace, and potentially if Liam Doyle turns into an ace, he's a number 2?
Hold on. Let me look at Sonny Gray's contract here. Yeah, it was 3 years at 75. We're focused on the wrong thing, in my opinion. I'm not even entertaining a contract. If this guy pitches well and I go into the deadline,
he gone.
And I have multiple teams bidding for his services.
Not a problem. Trade him. Would you bring him back?
Oh, yeah. Is that where the conversation shifts?
I don't think you. I'm fine with that.
So what you're saying
him,
is
he's a free agent.
Yeah.
Would you sign him to a contract?
Absolutely. If he continues to pitch well and he hits the open market, and like Marsh says, he's fell in love with the zoo and he loves it, and
he's going to be a free agent anyways at the end of the year.
If he opts out,
it's a mutual agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's performing well, hell yeah. You trade him.
That's what the Yankees did with Aroldis Chapman.
Correct. And
they flipped him the Cubs. He won a World Series. They got Gleyber Torres and part of the deal, and then brought him back in.
Yeah,
sure.
So now we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
Say aye.
Aye.
Are we doing aye, or are we doing the togetherness?
Yeah.
I know the people listening can't see it, but just imagine
They can hear it, though.
Just imagine our hands coming together.
Yep.
All in sync.
Absolutely. It's one of Gator's in the snake pit. It's one of his favorite things ever.
Is it?
Yep. He says so. He says so all the time.
Dustin May pitched today as the Cardinals lost 3-1 to the Nationals. He went 3 2/3, 2 hits given up, 1 earned run, walked 2, and struck out 3. His ERA this spring is 1.35.
Who wants him? Who wants to give us a future ace?
Whoa.
And then re-sign him. Now, how do you like it? I see you, Marsh. You like it a lot.
Listen,
Marshall loves it.
I trust whatever Chaim Bloom's doing. I trust him. And I haven't been able to say that about this team in a while.
Okay.
I trust what Chaim Bloom's doing.
Marcia, are you looking forward to the Cardinal season?
I actually am, yeah. I am looking forward to it. I think there's a lot of there's a lot of questions about this team that I'm looking forward to seeing what the answers are. So, if certain players play well, I'm excited about that. If certain players don't play well, I'll complain about it, but I'll also be more informed about those players. So I think this year is a pivotal year for the Cardinals, and I'm interested to see how it all plays out.
There you have it.
I just had a vision. It's a show called From.
Okay.
I won't give it. It's a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sci-fi. It's very interesting. But it's a point where you're a family. You come to this road. There's a tree, and so you got to go in the other direction. And then you think the other direction is going to take you out of the town. You get to, but it just loops. It just loops until you finally get out of your car and say, "What the fast lane, man?
Yeah.
How do I get back to the road?" And everybody got to tell you,
You're here forever.
I didn't say that. It's just you're here with us. You know what I mean? Some point you got to get out the car. You can't keep going in the loop. And that loop is, man, I can't wait for Cardinal season. Damn. Man, I can't wait for Blues season. Damn. Man, I can't wait for Cardinal season. Damn. It's like From.
So,
But when you get out that car, Anthony.
Well, you're still stuck.
Oh, listen.
You're stuck with all the other fans, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but it's dangerous in that town.
Okay, I believe it. I believe it.
So we have to watch the games because we have
We
to.
do.
We have to. So I'm going to go into each season optimistic because I don't want to be that guy that walks into the new year with a bad attitude because then I'm going to have a bad attitude all summer. And I don't want to feel that way. So I'm going to go in optimistic. I'm probably going to give it at least a month. And then it's probably not going to turn out the way I want it to. But then there'll be 1 month where I'll start to, believe a little bit. It's happening right now with the Blues.
Get the you up text.
I'll get the you up text. I'll believe for a couple of more weeks.
Sure.
And then the cycle continues, and I'll go back to being a bitter person and complaining. and then something great will happen. And then while something great's happening, there'll be a rain out at a game that I'm at, and they'll cancel the game, and I'll lose out on the opportunity of going to the game. I'll sit, 15 rows from the field, won't get to go because they got rescheduled, and then I'm bitter the rest of the year. It'll probably be something like that.
Okay. All right. I don't like that for you, but okay.
But I'm going to choose to go into the season optimistic, Anthony. Sure. There's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah. Okay. Deal. I like it.
I hope you guys join me.
I will be there. I'm certainly more excited than
I'm
previous.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm actually more excited about this year.
Sure.
Yeah, you guys are really showing it.
Well, listen, my excitement for this year is not that if they make it to the playoffs, I'll be blown away. Like, I'll be like, oh, goodness, that was a hell of a year. Like, my excitement is I finally feel like I know. I don't expect them to be really good. I do hope that they're competitive. I don't know that will lead to a lot of wins. Like last year, I was excited about the Blues coming into this year because of how well they performed at the end of last year.
Of course.
And then they started stinking, and I'm like, well, that fooled me once. Anthony, you know the rest.
Can't get fooled again.
Yeah. Huh. But the Cardinals this year, I'm excited in a different way. I'm excited to see the youth of America running those base paths, playing that field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
At the bat, swinging it.
Sure.
557 says, I'm with Marsha on this. I'm going into the car. Let's go, baby.
Time to go on this loop. Yeah. Maybe we should watch the show first. Bet the Board is next on 101 ESPN. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. A very quick bet the board segment. How did we do last night, Marsh?
Well, it turns out that you two did
terribly.
You guys did not do well.
You just say it. We did terribly.
Well, I don't want to say terribly, Anthony.
It's terrible for me. I think I've lost 4 straight.
I don't want to say it was terrible.
5 straight.
Oof. Okay, so do we have updated standings?
Well, Anthony, I actually did pretty well last night.
Oh, nice job.
I did get a point last night. Let me just double check Jamie's just to see how that went. I believe that he ended up doing very well. Yes, he did. So, Anthony, the standings are, you're still in the lead, so you're good. 5 points. Jamie has 4 points. I have 4 points, and Carey still has 1 point.
Rough month for the current defending champion.
Bad, man.
All right, I'm going to the hardwood. Marshy, I will take Northwestern plus 7.5 on the alt line against Indiana. Northwestern plus 7.5 against Indiana in the Big Ten Conference Tournament.
Now, did we get Jamie's pick for today?
He's going with Air Force on the money line at Nevada. They are plus 1,600. But he likes the Air Force.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the Montreal Canadiens and Ottawa Senators. First period over 1.5, over 1.5 at minus 140.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers on the alternate spread at minus 2.5 tonight versus the Orlando Magic.
All right, there you have it. That's
Maybe
bet the board.
I can find a win.
This Sunday is Selection Sunday. You can get signed up to play in this year's Bracket Madness Pick'em Challenge. You can register now to participate at 101ESPN.com. And once the bracket is out this Sunday night, you can fill out your bracket. It's all free to enter. And this year's top scorer will take home a $250 Amazon gift card and a 101 prize pack. So think about that. Just enter, completely enter for free. Fill out your bracket once Selection Sunday's in the books, and you can win a $250 Amazon gift card on us. You can find all the contest rules and get signed up to play in Bracket Madness now at 101ESPN.com. Bracket Madness is refreshed by Bud Light. All right. Let's do what's trending next. Marsh has got some what's trending topics for us next on 101 ESPN. Carey, I absolutely love Mentality. I love what it's done for me. So let's talk about what Mentality is first. First and foremost, it is a place that was created to help anyone that might be dealing with low testosterone. Mm-hmm. But it's not just and I've heard you talk about this, it's not just your typical like bro clinic, right? If you're struggling with your energy, your mood, maybe it's a situation where it's like, man, I don't even have the motivation to get back into the gym. I don't even have the motivation to do well at work or at home. Right. Go see Mentality. You're not alone. I struggle with it. Carey struggle with it. But Mentality will get you on a program that will up your free testosterone ranges. They'll also check your blood, make sure nothing else is going on that you could tell your physician about. But when it comes to Mentality, it's a great place. And, man, I don't know about you, but I've been feeling great.
Yeah, and as you said, they're not the low-T bro clinic. They are human-based. They are human-centered. They're going to run real labs, give you real answers, real results in terms and layman terms that you can understand. And you can, as you said, take back to your doctor and talk about those things. And they're going to put you on a program to help you feel the best version of yourself that you felt in a while. 2 great locations, Chesterfield, South County. Anthony and I both go there once a week, and we love the great people there, and they do a great job.
I'll be going there tomorrow, in fact, out in South County. So if you want to check it out for yourself, two ways you can check it out. Either go to one of the two locations, Chesterfield or South County, like CD just mentioned, or you could schedule your appointment now at lowtusa.com. And I'd jump on it now because if you head down there and you mention Carey or I or 101 ESPN, all new patient labs will be covered in your treatment plan. So you're talking about $250 savings right out the gate with Mentality. You'll love it. Reclaim the old you, the young you with Mentality.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Universal Windows Direct. The Blues fall to the New York Islanders in overtime by a final score of 4-3. They'll take on the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow. And we'll have all the coverage for you right here on 101 ESPN. If you have missed anything from today's show, including our conversation about Maxx Crosby going back to the Raiders, the Ravens backed out of that trade agreement. Make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page, and you'll find all of our shows there, and it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Universal Windows Direct.
In the sports world.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
Here's what's trending.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, earlier in the show, we were talking about Bam Adebayo's 83-point effort, and we were not too happy about how things went down. We know where the NBA is, the current state of the NBA in terms of how people feel about it. We think it's not competitive. Mm-hmm. What if I threw out the idea of taking away 10 games?
Really?
Yeah.
10 regular season games.
That's correct, Anthony.
I'm intrigued.
Huh.
But will the other 72 games, or will these 72 games, lead to more competitiveness?
Well, Anthony, it would improve the league. I mean, that's what Steve Kerr said.
What?
It would improve the league. What do you think, Carey?
That's your head coach.
I think it's a terrible idea.
Wow.
I think it's a dumbass idea. And I love Steve Kerr. Loved him as a player. You know, championship pedigree. Played the game hard, man. Knocked down big shots when the time was there for him to do so. Champion, Anthony. I said that already. Did I say that yet?
You did. Yeah, you did. You pay the man his respects, not hammer him.
But damn it, Steve, this is absolutely ridiculous. And I was looking at some numbers, and I found it interesting. Steve Kerr played 82 games 4 times in his NBA career. And I looked at some other people. I looked at LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, and Nikola Jokic. All MVPs, all future Hall of Famers. They haven't played they haven't played 4 82-game seasons. They haven't played 82 games 4 times combined. Mm-hmm. All 4 of those players. LeBron done it once. KD done it once. Steph and Jokic have never done it. The way that the world is set up now, you're telling me with the amount of rest and recovery, the rehab, all of the things that you have now versus what you had when you played, Steve, in the 90s?
Yeah.
Early 2000s. 20 plus years of advances in medicine. And again, recovery, hotels, flights, things have shifted so much. These guys don't play 82 games anymore because they're too tired now. They're too big, too strong, too quick. Their joints are different than the players that played in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I don't know, man.
I mean, I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so either. Maybe they train differently. Possible. Maybe they overtrain. Possible again. But I know they don't play 82 games, and I know that. Hey, listen, you talking to a man. I'm pissed. I am bothered. And this is due to an injury, not because he's sitting out. But I got tickets. I told you, Anthony, to go watch the Atlanta Hawks versus my favorite team in Atlanta in 10 days.
They canceled that night.
They didn't cancel it. They did that night is not canceled.
They canceled a certain promotion.
That was a good night. That's a good place, man. I had great food, great wings, great times. Trust me, I know. I lived in Atlanta. Good times, man. Steph Curry is not going to play, looks like. Going to be reevaluated in 10 days. Now, this is not a load management issue. He has a knee issue, so I get it. But damn it, Anthony, you telling me that the players in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s were tougher mentally and physically than the players now?
I wouldn't think so.
I
would say so.
Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. Maybe were they more physically gifted? I don't know. But you want to take away 10 games for who? Your ass ain't playing 82 now. What difference do it make?
Well, I think it's probably his point, right? Like if you could play.
How about the point be, Steve Kerr, be like me when I played. Play 82 games. Because that's what champions do. That's what it requires to become a champion. You got to play every night, man. The Washington Wizards, they played last night, but they really didn't. You know what I mean?
They have players in uniform. I don't know if they played.
They were there. Who the hell wants to watch it? This is the basketball issue that they're having. Non-competitive, not lackluster at times. Like, I thank God for Anthony Edwards and Victor Wembanyama. Like, those guys want to hoop. Like, they look like they want to hoop every night. Like, I'm playing. I love the game. I love the opportunity. Like, I want to watch them guys. Jokic, he plays hard, but Jokic, Doesn't play a lot. He's dealt with some injuries. He's dealt with some injuries this year, but just play the game, man.
Mm-hmm.
This soft-ass mentality where we're going to take away 10 games and guys will be fresher. Really? They don't get enough sleep at night? Now? Is the sleep quality less than it was in the 80s and 90s? I don't know, man. They need to get a scientist on there to tell me that. But it's ridiculous. Just play, man. I'm sick of y'all.
Carey, I'm with you, 100%. Marsh, you got anything else for what's trending?
No, that's it. I just wanted to hear Carey go off on the NBA.
I like it. All right.
And I love the association.
I know you do.
You did.
You wish it was better. You're holding the association accountable.
Yeah, man. If somebody, if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it. You know what I mean?
If you don't do it, nobody's going to do it. Boy, it's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Because you're only one man.
That's just me.
Mm-hmm. That's like Anthony trying to hold the Cardinals accountable. You were the only person in this city that had the ability apparently to change the direction of that franchise. Yeah. And because you went down to Busch Stadium that one day and yelled at the top of your lungs, change it up!
Yeah.
Chauncey says people, as a whole, Anthony.
Jamie. Oh.
Chauncey says me?
Have become weak.
Wow. Would you call me Chauncey? I like you, Chauncey. I like you a lot. You're a regular listener. You contribute a lot. You call me that one more time, you'll find out how weak I am. All right?
He didn't call you weak. He said people as a whole have become weak.
He called me something worse.
Talk about the NBA
Called
players.
me an as a whole. Love you, Chauncey. All right, we're going to play Prove Me Wrong. Oh, you got something there, Marcia?
Oh, yeah, the 314 says, I credit this entire rebuild to Anthony.
Thank you, guys.
That way.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. Again, though, I'm only one man. Hein Bloom's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Prove Me Wrong is coming up next. 314.
Assistant role.
I'm assisting him. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you have a prove me wrong statement, something that you want to send in that Carey or I have to prove wrong in the eyes of the judge, Andrew Marsh, again, you could text into the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Prove me wrong next.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
Time for Prove Me Wrong. This is where you can send in a statement that you want Carey or I to have to prove wrong in the eyes of our judge, Andrew Marsh. So send your Prove Me Wrong statements into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Judge,
yeah,
we're ready to rock.
All right, let's start with Raider Jay. Wonder how he feels about this whole Maxx Crosby situation. From the 314, prove me wrong, the Baltimore Ravens are an upstanding organization.
Well, not when you do what you've done repeatedly over the last, 10 to 15 years, which is you either trade for somebody or sign somebody, and if you have any sort of buyer's remorse, you can just say, player failed the physical, or we didn't like what we saw in the physical, and we can just get out of the deal. Did they do anything legally wrong? No. But it does come down to a moral issue. And if you're going to phrase things like, well, the Ravens are upstanding, or however you phrased it that way, I vehemently disagree. These guys, Judge, are clearly scumbags, the way they operate.
Anthony, you couldn't have said it better. Any better. I couldn't have said it any better myself.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job. From the 314, prove me wrong. The Blues have a culture problem where each season requires someone to be let go, coach fired, or players traded to spark some fire under the players.
I don't know that it's a culture problem. It's just an injury issue that they've dealt with, slow starts, and there's something about that break that just re-energizes this group. I would propose for the NHL to actually have the All-Star / Olympic / Four Nations tournament. Maybe they do it in October. Because the Blues, when they get that break, they're ready to roll. You know what I mean? Maybe you do it in November, so when they return in mid-November, they're ready to go. This is not a culture issue that the Blues are having. This is an NHL issue that they're having. The schedule's out of whack. And if you want the Blues to play better, move up those tournaments. Move up those breaks. Because they play lights out after said tournaments. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
an NHL problem. Blues are good.
Blues are good.
After the break, the judge didn't take the qualifications of he didn't listen to my argument.
Carey, I listened to all of it. You made a great point.
Yeah, you got to move up those tournaments, those Olympic, All-Star, Four Nations. Move that to end of November, middle of November. Blues will be playing lights out for 4 months, man. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Can we take a second though and talk about what that texter put in?
Sure.
The Air Comfort Service text line. I do believe that there is something there. Like, that shouldn't be happening, right?
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. Firing, a break, or anything like that shouldn't jumpstart you. No. And it's in theme. They don't start the season well. They don't start games well. Unfortunately, this has just been an ongoing problem for the Blues. Slow starts. So, no, I agree. It's a problem.
Carey, let's give you another one. From the 314, prove me wrong. The Steelers should bring back Aaron Rodgers instead of giving national champion Will Howard a shot.
I don't think they need to do either of those things. I think you give the Ty Simpsons of the world a shot. You bring back Aaron Rodgers, and it just continues to delay your process of what you're trying to do. You don't need to bring back Aaron Rodgers or give Will Howard. I almost called him Will Levis. I don't know. Haven't seen him play in a couple of years. It's okay at Ohio State. I had him confused with another guy that transferred to Syracuse.
Yeah.
Didn't even know. You know what I mean? That's...
You want to give that guy a shot?
Yeah, give him a shot. Give him a shot. No. The Steelers need to figure things out offensively, which they have done. They brought in Michael Pittman Jr. DK Metcalf is going to be your one. He's going to be your number two. They've gotten rid of all of they moved on from all those tight ends that they've had. Not all of them, but a few of them. And they're going to play football the way that God intended it to be played. Not the way Artie Smith intended it to be played. You know what I mean? God intended football to be played not with 14 tight ends on the field. That is not what God said when he said, football, here you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Artie's trying to recreate something, and you can't go against God, all right? So Steelers will be fine. No need to bring back Aaron. Whoever they put in that under center, going to be a game changer because the people around him are game changers.
Okay. Next one. Bryce Almighty Action Jackson. Prove me wrong. Ollie will remain the manager of the Cardinals even if they don't win 162 games over the next 2 seasons.
He will or he won't?
He will.
He will.
He will? Nah. Listen. Chaim Bloom did not hire Ollie Marmol. I'm sure he wants to keep Ollie in place, have a little continuity with the current roster. But what is one thing that Chaim Bloom is doing? He is overhauling the farm system. He's bringing in new players via trades, obviously the draft, and he'll continue to do so. At some point, what the players are doing in the minors, their development, all that, and once they get to the big league club, that will coincide with having a new voice within that clubhouse. It might not be right now, but there will be a new manager for the Cardinals in the foreseeable future. Again, my main point being, Ollie was not hired by the current regime. May have gotten the new contract extension, but that doesn't mean that he's going to hold on to that gig for the foreseeable future. Chaim Bloom bringing in new players. Eventually, Judge, he'll bring in a new manager. Probably either Albert Pujols or Yadier Molina, which, of course, is what the fans want. And who am I to go against Albert or Yachty?
Well, Anthony, it is Albert all the way.
It's Albert all the way.
According to a few.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony. I'm going to do this. This one's set up just for you.
Oh.
Prove me wrong from the 636. The Falcons have done horrible in free agency.
Are you kidding me? When else can you find a quarterback, a starting quarterback, by the way?
Say it.
For minimum, the veteran minimum. They're not paying him. The Dolphins are paying him. There's no risk there. Tua sucks. It ain't going to matter. Plus, you got Michael Penix coming back at some point. If Tua's very good, well, then Penix can continue to rehab. Either way, you can give Tua a little bit of a run here to see how he does. Austin Hooper was added to the squad as well. Give yourself a second tight end now in the passing game alongside Kyle Pitts, who you franchise tag. Got in Jahad Dotson, who, look, former first-round pick, was playing for the Eagles, who's buried on that depth chart. Now, he'll be probably wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. They brought back Zacchaeus as well. And I see a bunch of pass rushers being signed today on one-year deals. One-year deals never hurt you, Judge. Never hurt you. They released Kirk Cousins. They're done there. So, look, things are happening in Atlanta.
Anthony, I'm just glad to see that you believe in your team. You make some great points, Anthony.
Thanks.
I think you're right.
Thank you.
Those Falcons are going to have a great year.
I appreciate you,
I'm glad
Judge.
you believe in them. I'm glad you believe in them.
Look at you forcing me to do something that I didn't necessarily want. How about Carey with that meme or the video?
Which video?
The guy on the trash truck. Somebody else sent it to me, too. So Carey sent us a video last night, and the caption was, the Falcons in free agency, and all it was a guy like sprinting, a trash man,
booking it.
Sprinting. It was impressive.
It was impressive.
Sprinting to grab trash and throw it in the truck, and then he'd ride a little bit, then he'd sprint off. Then at one point he was hydroplaning.
Yeah.
Of course, the theme being the Falcons are in a big time hurry to sign trash.
Oh man,
which I laughed because I thought it was spot on. Yeah.
It's a good thing you believe in them, though.
No, yeah, no, I definitely, absolutely do. Hey, we need a new Gauntlet contestant, so feel free to text in 314-399-9646. It's the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you want to play in the Gauntlet, you can. Just type in the word Gauntlet. You have an opportunity to take on either Marsh, Carey, or me next in the Fast Lane.
categories, one challenger. Can you survive the gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Visit BlueNoteRoofingSTL.com for a free inspection.
404, your time check, brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Jacob to the Gauntlet. What's up, Jacob?
Hey, how are we doing today?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you listening. Thank you for playing. Would you like to take on Marsh, CD, or me in round one?
Let's go Marsh today.
All right. Ooh. Andrew Marsh. Sounds good. We'll go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel, and then we'll kick him out of here, and he'll go to the cone of silence.
Spin that wheel.
All right, so Marsh is going to make his way into the cone of silence. Jacob, is there a certain category you were hoping for today?
I'm hoping either hockey or football.
Okay. Carey can see it. No, Carey's got a favorable look on his face.
Well, it was going to be hockey or football, and it ended up being football.
Okay, so there you go. I imagine, Jacob, you're good with that.
I think I'll be all right. Let's see what happens.
All right, so thank you, Carey. Carey's giving us the launch code right now. You're going to get 4 football-related questions. Each one is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. You ready, Jacob?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Ex-Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa intends to sign a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. Tua led the NFL in passing yards in 2023 with 4,624. Who finished second that season, trailing him by just 49 yards?
All right, let's see. 2023. Got like 3 names in my head. Let's go with the options.
Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, final answer.
Question number 2. New Steelers running back Rico Dowdle played collegiately at what school?
Oh, I'm going to need the options on this one, too.
Is it Stanford, Tennessee, or South Carolina?
Let's go with South Carolina, final answer.
All right, Jacob, question number 3. In 14 seasons, Terry Bradshaw was 107-51 as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback. How many times did he reach the playoffs?
I'm going to go no options here and go 4.
Final answer?
Final answer, yes.
Final question. 3-time Pro Bowler, wideout, Art Monk spent the bulk of his career with?
I'm going to need the options here.
Washington Redskins, Philadelphia Eagles, or the New York Giants?
Let's go with the Redskins, final answer.
All right. Let's bring back Marsh from the cone of silence. I don't know if you can see me. He's got his head down in there. Look at him. There we go. All right. Jacob, how you feeling?
I think I needed to pack a lunch.
All right, we'll see how Marsh does today. Marsh is taking his seat. How was the cone of silence?
It was silent. That was pretty quick. It was fairly quick.
It was fairly quick.
It felt quick.
Marsh, your category today is football.
Okay.
How you feeling about football?
I feel good.
Okay.
Depending on how the questions turn out to, are there any worded questions?
Well, we'll find out.
Okay.
Pack a lunch.
Maybe Lamar Jackson. I know he won MVP that year. Let's use the options.
Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Josh Allen.
That was the year the Cowboys went to the playoffs and then lost to the 49ers, if I'm not mistaken. They had a pretty good offense that year. I'm going to go with Dak Prescott. Final answer.
Question number 2. Now Steelers running back. Sorry.
Oh,
New
no. He was hurt that year.
New Steelers running back Rico Dowdle played collegiately at what school?
No idea. Options.
Is it Stanford, Tennessee, or South Carolina?
Let's go South Carolina. Final answer.
Question 3, Marsh. In 14 seasons, Terry Bradshaw was 107 and 51 as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback. How many times did he reach the playoffs?
Say that again.
In 14 seasons, Terry Bradshaw was 107 and 51 as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback. How many times did he reach the playoffs?
Options.
8, 9, or 10?
I'll go with 10. Final answer.
Final question. 3-time Pro Bowl wideout Art Monk spent the bulk of his career with who?
Options.
Washington Redskins, Philadelphia Eagles, or New York Giants?
Let's go with Washington. Final answer. I think I got 0 on that.
Carey, you and I are old.
Man.
I think I got 0.
You and I are old.
I'm not kidding.
Because I know you would have known that Art Monk one right off the bat, as would I. All right, let's start there. The 3-time Pro Bowl wideout Art Monk spent the bulk of his career with. Jacob took the options, went with Washington. Marsh took the options, went with Washington. Correct answer is?
Washington Redskins.
Washington Redskins.
Oh, nice.
It's part of the, what do they call themselves? The
Hogs?
No, but like that team specifically, like the Joe Gibbs.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, something gang, I thought. The wide list of wide receivers. Anyways, we got a 1-1 tie. New Steelers running back Rico Dowdle played collegiately where? You both took the options. You both went with the Gamecocks.
Oh, nice.
Correct answer is
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
What is going on here?
You thought you got none, Marsh. You actually got 2 already, as did Jacob. So we got a 2-2 tie.
Good job, Jacob.
Thank you.
In 14 seasons, Terry Bradshaw was 107 and 51 as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback. How many times did he reach the playoffs? Jacob, without the options, went with 4. We know from Marsh's asking of the options that 4 wasn't an option. Marsh said 10. Correct answer is
10.
10. So Marsh is up 3-2 now. Comes down to this. Or does it? Ex-Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa intends to sign a 1-year deal with the Falcons. Tua led the NFL in passing yards in 2023 with 4,624. Who finished second that season, trailing him by just 49 yards? Marsh, with the option, said Dak Prescott, and then noted...
The pride of Central Michigan took over for a few games that season.
Cooper Rush took over for a couple of games there.
Yep. He was undefeated, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn right he was. It's a Chippewa. Jacob, with the options, said Josh Allen. Here's the deal. If it's Josh Allen, we're headed for a walk-off. If it's Dak Prescott, Marsh's going to win today. So, Carey, who finished second that year behind Tua?
Jared Goff.
Jacob.
What?
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
Not today.
Oh, by the way, if it was also Jared Goff, Marsh would have won.
Yeah.
It was Jared Goff. So even though Marsh got that one wrong, didn't matter. Marsh with 3, Jacob with 2. Jacob, I'm sorry, my friend, he got you 3-2 today.
Hey, you get the wrong J name. My J name, Jared, Josh, you get them all confused.
It happens, it really does. Absolutely. Jacob, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for listening. And we do hope that you try again sometime.
I will. And, hey, bear down. Chicago Bears going to go get Maxx Crosby now.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. Well, good luck to your Bears next season. I was going to say upcoming season, but next season.
Appreciate it. I look forward to maybe seeing the Atlanta Falcons make an attempt to make the playoffs.
Oh, Jacob. No,
Jacob.
actually, no, you phrased that pretty well, honestly. Yeah.
My favorite team's in that division
Yeah,
with Jacob's Bears.
He just went right over. Yep. I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit.
Hey, the Vikings got to get a quarterback. It sounds like the Falcons may need another quarterback next year. Who knows?
Yeah, given the injury history of both of the Falcons quarterbacks, I would say, yeah, they probably will need a new QB. Be Tyson Badgett next year. Yeah.
Hey, he's available.
I know. Yeah. All right, Jacob, thank you, man. See ya.
Hey, have a good one, guys.
Thanks,
too.
Jacob.
See ya. Nice shot, March. You didn't think you got any.
Yeah, no, I thought I got a goose egg on that one.
No, sir, you did not.
Nice.
Way to go there, Marsh. Way to go. So, Gauntlet victory for Marsh today. So, we'll need a new Gauntlet contestant tomorrow. All right. Speaking of the NFL, speaking of quarterbacks, the Colts just did what? It's next on 101 ESPN. Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. The Indianapolis Colts earlier today agreed to terms with Daniel Jones. Not surprising. Daniel Jones played very well for them before he tore his Achilles tendon. And it was reported that both sides wanted to come to an agreement. Well, they did. 2 years, $88 million. It's worth up to $100 million based on incentives. And Jones will receive $50 million fully guaranteed at signing, with another $60 million guaranteed for injury. That's a lot of money, man, for a guy coming off an Achilles injury. Now, I get it. He played well for them in that system. And maybe the Colts were feeling as though that they were in a bad spot and they needed to guarantee that they'd have Daniel Jones. But what other options did Daniel Jones have?
That's always a very good question. What other options?
Coming off an Achilles tear.
I don't know. It's confusing because, number one, I don't know. You're essentially, you assigned him to a 2-year deal, but it's really like a year and a couple months, because when is he going to return to actually play?
Right.
In 2026? At what part of the season do you think he's going to be healthy enough, or are you expecting him to be ready by training camp? Maybe.
I wouldn't think so.
But I mean, he was pretty banged up last year, which, he had the broken, I think it was a fibula, which he ended up tearing his Achilles. Like, he went out there and gave his all, and maybe he had some assurances from the front office that you're our guy come hell or high water, no matter what damage you do, and maybe this is them doing right by him. But I do find it interesting that I don't know when he's going to play in 2026.
Right.
So you're essentially paying him maybe to be a backup quarterback at best, or be a guy that's on the IR until you can get him off, and then you paying him for another year. Right. So I do find it interesting what the Colts are doing. I mean, I do think doing right by your players is the right thing to do.
You're paying this guy $50 million guaranteed,
but financially, I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know what they're doing. Because I don't know, again, I don't know when he's going to be healthy. We just saw the Ravens say, oh, no, thank you, Maxx Crosby. We don't know.
Right.
We didn't know your injury was this bad.
And that was an ACL tear, which...
That was a meniscus tear. Not even to the level of an ACL.
Okay. This is an Achilles tear. So let's just play this out realistically, okay? He comes back at some point next season.
Yeah. He's going to be dragging that leg around.
Based on how the previous Achilles tears injuries have been, not just for quarterbacks, for players overall. And for quarterbacks, it might be a little bit better. But he's also somebody that's pretty mobile.
Yeah.
Not to the level of Lamar Jackson, or that, but mobile nonetheless.
No,
he ain't going to be effective. My point is he ain't going to be effective next year.
I will say this. Jason Tatum tore his Achilles, and he came back in 10 months, and he looks to be playing pretty damn well.
Sure.
So it's on a person-by-person case.
The majority of the time.
Just saying.
You just threw out the exception.
The exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The majority of the time, Achilles injuries are pretty nasty.
I don't know when he's going to be healthy enough to play. That is the number one question, the number one concern for Daniel Jones, and is when he will be, and where do you go? Because that team, until he started getting banged up, that team was really good. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Taylor was having an all-pro caliber season. Like, he was playing his butt off. He was healthy all season long, running the ball really well. That offensive line, defense, Zaire Franklin is no longer there. Like, they're moved on from some pieces. It's going to be Michael Pittman, another one that they have decided to trade to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be interesting to see how this team plays. But I'm more intrigued to watch the progression of Daniel Jones and when he's back healthy. Daniel Jones he finds his way to the money.
Yeah, he does.
I will say that for Daniel Jones.
Kirk Cousins got to be proud.
Kirk Cousins light. Like, he finds his way to the money.
Yeah.
So
both guys have something in common too. They like to get people fired.
I didn't say that. He didn't get anybody fired. Who did he get fired?
He
wasn't there when
Chris Ballard. He just doesn't know yet. Chris Ballard being the GM of the Colts.
Was fired.
Yeah, he wasn't, but kind of the aftershock now.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's going, I don't know. I don't know what the, but then again, I guess the concern, I don't know what other options you have. You talked about Riley Leonard. We know that Anthony Richardson, he was allowed to seek a trade if there's value there for him.
Been nothing on that front.
Had a word. So maybe you run it back with those two guys until Daniel Jones is healthy, and you see where you are.
Either way, you're either going to need a veteran option, somebody like a Joe Flacco or something like that, to come in and play while Daniel Jones rehabs, or you're just going to start Riley Leonard for an X amount of games next season.
Yeah.
They're not in a good spot either way. And again, I don't think that Daniel Jones is going to be effective for at least a year.
Right.
Now, maybe toward the end of next season, maybe he starts to find his groove again, but I don't know. That's a big risk, I think, and a big money risk. Nonetheless, Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta said that he is still hopeful the Ravens can reach a contract extension with Lamar Jackson. Getting Lamar Jackson to actually sign a contract extension feels like a big ask, even though they've been trying to do it since last offseason. But DeCosta said the restructuring of his deal, quote, doesn't change his optimism or the difficulty around Lamar signing long term. We're in the, quote, believe it when we see it mode when it comes to the extension. But the Ravens, of course, will continue to be optimistic about it.
Good luck. I mean, what are they trying to get him to restructure his deal? I don't know what his deal.
I'm sure it's a restructuring with an extension. That's how I'm reading it.
But I think they had some issues trying to get to this contract in the first place because he does represent himself.
Right.
And there's no buffer. And we talked about this, like, even with arbitration with baseball players, you got to sit in the room and listen to how terrible you are and why you shouldn't be paid X amount of dollars. And you're like, no, I'm the best player. No, but
it's a weird deal.
You don't do this well. So instead of having that buffer where the front office members can be as candid as they'd like to be and say, well, your guy hasn't done this, or you got to tell that to Lamar now.
Right.
And you get to see their real, I guess, view or image of you as a player and what they consider your deficiencies. And I don't know that anybody wants to sit in there and hear that, wow, I'm your best player in your franchise, and I got to hear you talk about why I shouldn't get X amount of dollars. That's got to be a tough conversation.
No doubt.
Maybe they'll have a deal in place, and then he'll say, I don't like that deal.
Oh, wow. That's usually the Ravens move. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Our Sports Six-Pack is next. So if you got a question for us, 314-399-9646 is where you can send it to the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, Sports Six-Pack Part 1 next. This month, Auto Centers Nissan, they've got all kinds of great offers. First and foremost, they got over 1,000 new and used vehicles all in one location. So the dealership boasts a great selection with both new and pre-owned. But when it comes to select new Nissans, buyers can get 0 payments for 6 months, 0 money down, and 0% APR for 60 months. On remaining 2025 models that Auto Centers Nissan has. They have discounted those up to $11,000 off MSRP. When you shop online, there's additional savings to go along this month with all the deals that they have going on. For example, when you choose a vehicle at AutoCentersNissan.com, every new and used vehicle is eligible for up to an additional $1,000 in savings. How do you know? All you have to do after you choose the vehicle, hit the Claim My Buyer's Bonus button to lock it in. Again, hit the Claim My Buyer's Bonus button to lock in your savings, and you can get up to an additional $1,000 in savings from Auto Centers Nissan. So if you've been in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, now's the time to head to Auto Centers Nissan. Inventory is deep, but the strongest deals won't last forever. Tell them Stalter sent you when you head out to Herculaneum. It's Auto Centers Nissan at AutoCentersNissan.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. At 5 o'clock, we'll talk with Joe Vitale. We'll talk about last night's 4-3 overtime loss for the Blues, so stay tuned for that. But coming up next, we have our Sports Six-Pack, so get your questions into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll do our Sports Six-Pack next. We are also off a little early today for the Patriot League Championship game. Pre-game starts at 5:45. Tip-off will be at 6. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut's Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
All right, time for the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marsh, question 1, please.
Question number 1.
All righty. From the 636, would you rather the Blues have a top 5 pick or make the playoffs?
Let's make those playoffs.
Marshall, you text this in?
No, I did not.
Let's make
Check
the
his
playoffs.
burner account.
We can, but we don't need to.
Make the playoffs?
Isn't it a crazy
I want to see the team make the playoffs.
Okay, let's go.
Always. I want to see the team make the playoffs every year.
Is it crazy to think that I might not be the only person in this town that thinks like that?
No.
Not at all.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Make the playoffs. Win the rest of the game. Win the whole Fast Lane thing.
Man, that'd be crazy.
Only one thing left to do. They make movies about it, Anthony.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean? Now, we don't know if that team actually won the whole thing because they cut it off before we...
They didn't, actually. They lost in the first round. They addressed it in the second documentary.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Remember I think
they didn't win that. They won that series. They won the first series, didn't they?
They won the first series.
They won the first game.
No, they won the first series.
Yeah, they won the first series.
Yeah, but then they got knocked out by the White Sox.
In the second round.
Okay. Which is something they address in the second documentary.
Gotcha.
After acquiring Jack Parkman. Whose little shimmy makes the
girls go crazy.
Yeah. I can't guarantee this for everybody, but I do think the majority of people, if they're being honest, if the Blues qualified for the playoffs and you're sitting there and you're day of a game 1 playoff series against, it doesn't really matter, you're excited.
You should be.
Right now, it feels like just get the top pick. Top pick, great, but you just get a top 5 pick.
Man,
season's
win
lost.
the whole thing,
but
man.
you would be excited if you're sitting there day of
team,
and game 1 was right like in a couple hours. You'd be fired up.
I think everybody would. But if this team goes on an epic run again, I mean, magic in a bottle, man. You'd be excited. You'd be thrilled.
Yes, you would.
You would be.
I love how movies or documentaries, pardon me, it's like, we're this terrible team and we're going to somehow make our way and win like either the wild card or we win the division or the pennant or whatever. Mm-hmm. But in Mr. 3000, that Brewers club was playing for 3rd place.
Very true.
If you remember, he laid down a sacrifice bunt. Mm-hmm. That did not allow him to get to 3,000 hits.
No.
He put he put the team over himself.
Yeah, that's the mess. That was the message.
For that Brewers club to get 3rd place in the Central.
Absolutely.
He didn't play for the Miami Heat, obviously.
No, he did not. Or the Washington Wizards. You know? He wasn't playing against the Washington Wizards. Those teams were still trying out there.
Yeah.
Unlike said Washington Wizards.
Question number 2.
All right, from the 636, this question is for Carey. If you had your own basketball franchise and you can pick any 10 players in history, what would your team be?
Man, 10 players all time. All right. Obviously, Michael Jeffrey Jordan will start there. I feel like I got to have Magic on there. Kobe. LeBron. Steph. Then I need some bigs. I would go with Shaq. I would go with, I love me some Hakeem Olajuwon, man. Love me some Hakeem Olajuwon. Give me the dream. Hakeem Olajuwon. Where am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Timmy. Duncan. At 8. I think I need another shooter, man. You know what? Give me Larry. Larry Legend. Not your Larry. Not your Larry.
No. Your Larry won't let you down.
Yeah, my Larry won't let me down. And then I'll probably go with give me Kareem.
What's that list look like now?
Kareem. So Jordan, Magic, Kobe, LeBron, Steph, Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon, Tim Duncan, Larry Bird, Kareem. Abdul-Jabbar.
What about Bam Adebayo? He scored 83 points last night.
How could you leave him off?
I think Bam did an outstanding job, man. Yeah.
Okay. Larry Legend.
Need another shooter on there, man.
It's hard to blame you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. If you would have told me that one NBA player was going to score 83 points this year,
you'd say Bam.
No, I wouldn't. Not that he's, a bad player. He's not. He's a solid player.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't have picked him to be that guy.
Who would you have picked?
Well, Anthony, I watched so many NBA games. I would probably go, I don't know, like Anthony Edwards or
Luka.
Yeah, Luka.
I think Luka would be
maybe the Joker.
So not Bam.
Not Bam Adebayo.
Okay. All right, fair.
I was blown away when I saw that come across. Like, hey, 3. What the hell, man? Who are they playing?
Was the other team trying? Turns out they weren't.
I think so.
No. All right, question 3, please.
Question number 3.
From the 636, do you guys think Jordan Walker will be in AAA and Joshua Baez will be in his spot by May?
Okay, I was wondering what the time frame was. By May, no. I think they'll give Jordan Walker a lot longer than a month to fail. I don't think it's going to be May.
I don't think it'll be. I think Jordan Walker's going to get every opportunity, unless he's just absolutely putrid. Like, it is hard to watch. Because at what point do you get to the point where sending him down is not the answer either? Like, I think this is you're getting close to a sink or swim season for Jordan Walker. Mm-hmm. I think this is a sink or swim season for Nolan Gorman. Spring training hasn't been going particularly well. I think when it's a player that we are comfortable with or has the track record of having success, nobody really cares about spring training one way or the other. Like, I think if he was raking and having a hell of a spring training, people would still be, well, let's wait till the season starts. So we got to wait till the season starts. Mm-hmm. We'll see how it goes. If it's bad, maybe you might have to cut your losses. But for me, I think, still going to give him opportunities because that's what this season is supposed to be, about opportunities.
Between Nolan Gorman and Jordan Walker, which one do you think they will give more runway to?
Jordan Walker. Mm-hmm. Because I think his defense will either be serviceable in right field or improved, and Gorman could be a liability at third base. Mm-hmm. And if you're a liability in the field, you better be somebody that's hitting 30-plus home runs.
Well, especially with who you have at shortstop and probably at second base.
Sure.
I believe J.J. Wetherholt will be a solid defender.
And I think Alec Burleson will be fine at first base.
Absolutely. So,
yeah, you can't be kicking it at third base consistently unless you're bad. Even if you're bad, is excellent. Mm-hmm. It's just not a good spot. Left field, you could do that. DH, obviously, because you're not playing defense. But when it comes to playing third base, you're booting it consistently, I think he'll have a shorter runway. than Jordan Walker. All right, we'll continue our Sports Six-Pack with part 2 next, so keep those questions rolling into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Part 2 of the Six-Pack next.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
Refreshed by Urban Chestnut. Urban Chestnut Swickle Light Premium Light Beer. Live your lifestyle, St. Louis.
Time for part 2 of the Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. If you got a question, send it into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Marsh, question 4, please.
Question number 4.
From the 636, what is the next number that gets retired for a St. Louis sports team?
The next number retired for a St. Louis sports team.
That's 50.
Wayno?
No. What number is
Bennington?
Jordan Bennington?
Bennington.
50.
What about like Albert or Yachty?
We're not counting those though, are we?
Well,
I thought you meant like. I
next.
thought you meant current players, like current players. Like,
We could do that too.
Well, I don't think we were talking about former players. I wouldn't.
Well, it would just be the next, but that would be one of the next numbers.
What?
Either Albert or
Yeah, I was assuming when I heard that, I thought it meant current players on St. Louis sports teams. That's how I took that conversation.
Okay.
And I could be wrong, but that's how my brain works. Because obviously Albert Pujols would be, he's already going on the wall. You know what I mean?
I do. I very much do.
So, yeah. Current players?
Current players? Yeah, I guess. I guess it would be.
It would be Jordan Bennington.
Sure.
Number 50. I didn't even think of Adam Wainwright. Because, again, I was thinking current players. My bad.
No,
Don't look at me. I'm sorry I looked at you.
I didn't know the rules
I looked
either.
at you.
I didn't know the rules either, Carey. It's all
look at you.
good. It's fine. Happy to be here.
I'm sorry I looked at you.
Marshall, what do you think?
I mean, if we're doing the current players, then I guess Jordan Bennington. But if we're not, it's got to be Wayno or Yachty.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
I think we solved for X.
yes.
We got it.
Speaking of number 50, though, we did get another question, so we'll move it for question number 5.
Question number 5.
From the 417, which 50 is more important, Adam Wainwright or Jordan Bennington?
Oh, jeez. So both won championships. Wayno helped win 2. Actually, no, he helped win 1. He was on the roster in 11, but he was injured. So that might change things. Now, Wayno did help you get to another in which you lost against the Red Sox. Oh, man.
It's got to be Jordan Bennington,
right?
Because he plays in more games. He has, this is no knock against starting pitchers. They pitch once every 5th day.
Yeah.
Whereas, Jordan Bennington would be playing 45, 55 games a year. You don't get a starting pitcher that pitches that many games in a year. Mm-hmm. So your direct impact on a game is, and you're talking 30 games out of 162 versus 50 games out of 80. So
how much
out of 82.
Okay, but let me throw a wrinkle in here. How much does longevity matter? Because Wayno will have played more seasons for the Cardinals than Bennington with the Blues, I would imagine. Different sport, though.
Now we're getting into, you're not wrong about that either. Anthony, I say all that to say I don't know.
I think I'd have to go with Bennington, but no matter which way we go, it feels dirty because we're almost choosing somebody and like making the other side less valuable. Yeah, less valuable, less important. And I guess that's why this texter, this evildoer, decided to phrase it that way.
So Jordan Bennington has played in 370 games, and Adam Wainwright played in 478.
Okay.
With a longer career, 18 years for Adam Wainwright, and Jordan is on 9. So if Jordan plays, he could actually play more games.
How much do you factor in that Adam Wainwright also sang the national anthem one day?
I think he sang it twice. One time while he was playing.
Well, he did the national anthem, and then he also had a concert.
Oh, yeah.
He held a concert.
I don't.
To my knowledge, Bennington has no concerts coming up for the Blues.
I don't put as much stock into that as you do, Anthony. I know that was something when he did that before the game and surprised his teammates. You were like,
whoa.
Yeah, you put him in your mind. If he wasn't a Hall of Famer, that solidified it.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know if Jordan can sing, so we can start there. Jordan Bennington, he might, and now if he does sing the national anthem, we're neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
But in your opinion, I don't give Wainwright singing the national anthem that much credit.
I hear what you're saying. Although, did you see their faces that day? Did you see how surprised
the team?
Yeah,
they were.
And
they
Wayno
were
even brought that up,
shocked and in awe.
I talked
to him.
He talked about that after the game.
He talked to us about it when I was on the morning.
Yeah, because my teammates didn't know.
Yeah,
I surprised those people. Those fine folks.
314 says it's Bennington. The Blues have 1 cup. The Cardinals have 11 World Series.
Oh.
So the impact, therefore, thus, impact is greater with 1. Let's go with Bennington.
Okay. So we'll start there.
You go Bennington, I'll go Wayno, so we'll cover it.
Okay. All right. Done.
Fastlane covered it.
Yeah. Well, no, Marshy.
What?
Let him break the tie.
No, don't make it a carry.
Don't make me do that.
Nah, you break. Why?
Because I don't want to.
Step up, Marsh.
Make a decision,
The people want
Marsh.
to know.
Who you going? Who you rooting for?
Carey and I made our choices.
Yep. Your turn.
I was leaning Jordan Bennington. Anthony did bring up the point about the national anthem. But I think I'm going to go with Jordan Bennington because I don't know if the Blues win that Stanley Cup if he's not in between the pipes.
Probably not.
I'm not even sure if they make the playoffs that year if he doesn't step in.
Probably not.
So,
all right. How about this? You go with Wayno. Carey and I will go with Bennington. That way we're covered. All right. Next question, please.
All right.
Question number 6.
From the 801, is it time to move on from players like Torpchenko and Walker? Our fourth line, among other problems, has had no identity this season.
Oh, when you said Walker, I didn't think Nathan Walker. I automatically thought Jordan Walker. I'm like,
that's not
he
good.
doesn't play on the fourth line?
No.
Maybe he should.
Maybe. He'd be an enforcer for sure.
Is it time to move on? If you don't have an identity on that fourth line, then I would say yes. Like if Montgomery feels as though that there's no identity on that fourth line, then that is absolutely the time to move on from certain players like that. But you're also doing it in a season in which nobody's playing well. So that makes it a little tough. Marsh, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this last night, the fourth line that they had out there with, I believe it was Suter, Finley, and Torpchenko. I was like, okay, like, I think that's just what happens when you bring in young players. I personally, I'd rather see the young players play. I don't care where they slot in the lineup. So if you can get those guys in and have them play impactful minutes, maybe not a ton of minutes, but impactful minutes, I'd rather see that than what we have seen. I think when the Blues lost Radek Faksa, they lost that identity of the fourth line. And we've talked about that multiple times. It seems like they haven't been able to recapture that. So does that make certain players less valuable? Maybe. I don't know. But if you're in the camp of, okay, I'm ready to move on from certain players and give other guys opportunities, then maybe you do move on. I agree, though. I don't think the fourth line has been as effective this year. But again, if you're complaining about a fourth line throughout the entire season, we got bigger issues, man.
Sure. All right. Well said. It's fascinating on 101 ESPN. Joe Vitale is going to join us next. We'll talk to him about last night's game, what went wrong. Plus, we haven't had an opportunity to talk to Joe since the trade deadline, so we'll get his thoughts on what went down and what didn't go down with the Blues. It's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, if your garage door is talking to you, that's not a great thing. So if it's grinding, it's squeaking, it's popping, any noise means something's going on, and you need to dial my friends at Don's Garage Doors. Considering your garage door weighs hundreds of pounds and is the largest moving part of your home, that any sort of noise, any sort of loud noise, any sort of, obviously if a spring breaks or things like that, that's not something you want to ignore. That's also not something you want to handle yourself. Trust me on that. Call the local team at Don's Garage Doors. Honest service, quality work, neighbors helping neighbors right here in St. Louis. And right now, you could get a full garage door tune-up for just $29.95. You might not need a new spring. You might not need a full new garage door. But what about a $29.95 tune-up? So less than $30. Don's Garage Doors can come out, make sure everything's running smoothly, might save you a repair or a costly replacement down the road. But if you do have an issue and you call by 10 a.m., they even offer same-day service. And if they can't make it out same day, you get $300 towards your repair or your replacement. So make things highly convenient for you. Book today at donsgaragedoors.com or call 866-4 Don's Door. Again, it's Don's Garage Doors.
Talking everything St. Louis Blues as we head into the Blues booth on 101 ESPN. Presented by Boardwalk Hardwood Floors. Find your perfect new floor at boardwalkhardwood.com.
501, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Let's head to the Collier & Thompson phone line. We're joined by our guy, Joe Vitale. We'll be on the call tomorrow night when the Blues get back into action. Joe, what's up, man?
What's up, boys?
Everything's good. Before we dive into last night's game, this is the first chance we have an opportunity to talk to you since the trade deadline, and we talked to you last week around this time, and there was so much uncertainty going on. So Now that we have an opportunity to chat with you, what did you think of the Blues trade deadline and how everything unfolded?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you knew moves were coming. We saw moves. If I could have predicted who was moved, I wouldn't have predicted Braden Shen. I would not have predicted the possibility of Colton Parayko. So I would say those two, and of course Colton decided not to waive his no trade and stay, but I did not have that on my radar, right? We talked a little bit about that last week. And then the Braden Shen one, again, I can see why, but, with the captain and so much young youth movement going on here, you just felt like maybe it was going to be next year, before he would possibly waive his no trade. But clearly it was the decision right for Braden. The Justin Falk, you saw that coming. I didn't expect it to come that late, but you got to give it to Doug Armstrong, how he patiently just waited for a great return. So overall, I thought we'd see maybe a couple different pieces instead of those that were moved, like the Braden Shen one, of course. But you look at the way St. Louis handled it, the way they moved forward. Guys, they got some great acquisitions. They got some great picks. They got a great trade-off for some of these players. I mean, multiple first rounds coming up this summer. Both first rounders for each players you lose. So to me, it's a win for the St. Louis Blues. It's a win for Justin, who can go after a cup. It's a win for Braden, who we saw last night, who can go after a cup. So to me, there really are no losers. Unfortunately, you do lose your captain. But like I said, you knew that day was coming, and you have to really appreciate the way these younger players like Robert Thomas have really stepped out of their comfort zone in the last couple of games and are really starting to show that this next leadership class coming up.
Joey, last night, Lindstein and Stenberg both got an opportunity to play. What did you make for the young fellas and Lindstein getting a point in his first game?
Yeah, listen, it was a long time coming for him. I know he's been, working his tail off in the minors. I talked to him briefly as we got to our hotel here in North Carolina and hopped off the bus, introduced myself, congratulated him on his first game. And, not to say you wanted to get that one, just get it over with, because you don't want that first game to get over with. But there is a certain level, Carey, of, whew, okay, I did it. Like, because these players, you play and you dream about this day. And, everyone says the same thing. When you're grinding away as a young kid, minor hockey, junior hockey, college hockey, whatever it is, and then certainly minor pro hockey, if I can just get one, right? You hear it all the time from players. If I could just play one, they feel like it would all be worth it. Now, Theo Lindstein's got many more than just the one like we saw yesterday, but there is a sense of relief when that one is past you because you look at all the hard work you put in, and it certainly is worth it, not to mention all the support he's received along all those years. But, they positioned him very well in his first game. That's key. He was a partner with Colton Parayko, which, I can't imagine many young players get the opportunity to play with an Olympian on their very first game. I thought they jived really well together. You can see his vision. You can see how he jumps ahead of plays. He's a thinker, right? He's not overly big. He's a young kid, got a lot of growth still, but he thinks the game very well, very smooth, and he didn't really make any bad decisions. I said to Chris Kerber after the game, when he asked me what I thought about him, I said, what, I didn't really notice him. And for a defenseman, that's a really good thing. He plays a very simple game, doesn't put himself or his teammates in a bad spot. So 2 thumbs up for his start here. He is going to be playing a lot down the stretch. And it was great to see Otto Stenberg back. When they sent him back to the minors before the Olympics, you understand why. You want him to go down there and play more games while everyone else is on break. But it was great to have him back. He's developing into, again, a very smart two-way winger that can really kind of fill in some of that middle pack forward position and ice time. And he's going to continue to grow because, once again, it's just a wonderful attitude, great spirit to the kid, always smiling. So like I said, 2 young guys that, once again, got an opportunity last night that we're going to see a lot more down the stretch of this season.
Joe, last night the Blues, they get outshot. They blow the 3-goal lead. I thought the game itself was more entertaining, and I thought it looked different than what we've seen in the past of this Blues team and how they would blow leads. I was thoroughly entertained throughout the full 60-plus minutes of that game. I thought the first line was awesome to watch. What did you make of last night's loss?
I would agree with you, Marsh. Listen, I said on the post game that was one of the most exciting games, one of the more exciting games we've seen from St. Louis this year. Unfortunately, you only grab the point in a game where you're up by 3 goals. But I don't know. There's something just different happening with this group. And ever since the deadline was over, I think that, you lose a couple veteran pieces, and you just never know how a team's going to react, how they're going to respond. San Jose at Anaheim, and now yesterday versus New York Islanders, there seems to be just a turning of the page, and it's almost turned overnight, where you got a lot of young players that have now really stepped outside themselves. And I think you don't know what you have until you allow them in the spotlight. And not to say that Robert Thomas and the Kairos, the Snuggeroos, not to say they were really fully in Braden Schen's shadow, but you always know that that's kind of the guy. And you always kind of mentally have that you're a supplemental piece. And until that guy is gone, then you fully take ownership of, okay, this is my team. And for Robert Thomas, for example, you really have to appreciate what he has done. And it's very early. It's only been a few games. But this is a young kid that seems to have just matured overnight. And now he is just grabbing this thing. He's been a difference maker in every single game. You lose Justin Falk. Again, for Logan Mailloux, he's always been kind of second fiddle to Falk and Colton Parayko. Now playing last night, top pair of minutes with Philip Broberg. He had the second most ice time right behind Broberg. And guys, listen, he looked great. Again, he is starting to really develop. I'm telling you, we're starting to already see that Mailloux for Boldu trade, you're seeing why now. That poor kid just came out of the gates and had a rough time. He had a heavy heart. A lot of goals were going in. He was gripping his stick tight. The legs stopped moving. He started hesitating. It was just snowballed in the wrong direction. He gets sent down to the minors. He gets called back up, finds his confidence, finds his groove. But since the Olympic break, he's found a whole nother level. And since Justin Falk has exited from the team, he's found even another level, right? Big, strong kid. He's skating. He's getting to the offense, staying in the offense, and he's just oozing with confidence right now. So you see why Falk and you see why Falk and Schenn move on. You see what the organization was trying to do. They were trying to allow fully this next group to say, this is your team, go get it. And you really have to applaud those guys for what they have done recently. Again, I know it's early. There's a lot of hockey left this season, a lot of growth happening in the next coming years, but you have to appreciate early on what these young kids have done with the opportunity that was granted to them.
A couple more things for Joe Vitale here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Joe, how about Joel Hofer? I mean, it's not only his net, he's the goalie one now, but can you talk about just his maturation over the course of the season? He's one of the few bright spots when it comes to this Blues club.
Well, yeah, he had such a tough start, Stalter, at the beginning of the year. October was not a favorable month for him, and a lot of goals going in uncharacteristically. And he really struggled out of the gates. His numbers were atrocious. Jordan's numbers were atrocious. The team wasn't great in front of him, but they'd be the first to tell you that they needed to have way more saves than they had. So for Joel, a year that started where he was really behind the eight ball, he has done nothing but battle his way back. November was better. December was great. January, fantastic. And now you're looking at, what Braden Schenn told me last week when he was still at Blue. He said, this kid is just nasty. He is just a stud. He is going to be one of the greats. And you watch. You see it because he's got the size. He's got the height. He's got the flexibility, the reaction time. He plays the puck better than any goaltender in the National Hockey League. Bar none. The way he comes out, he stops forechecks, he stops offensive zone rushes and cycle chances. He's gone for the net a couple times on empty netters, just missed a couple times. He is so confident with the puck. So you're right. This is a young goaltender. Came into the year as the backup, right? We're slowly starting to see him now take the majority of the net, and he has earned it. And Jordan Bennington will be the first one to tell you he has earned it, right? Even the goals last night, I know you allow the 3 in regulation and the 4th in overtime. Guys, he had a great shutout streak going, 90-plus minutes going from the Anaheim game to last night. Goofy bounce sets up Pajot on the back door. Nothing Hofer can do right there. Jack Finley, the Blues forward, puts it in his own net in the third period. Nothing he can do there. There's the goals that are going in outside the Barzal one, maybe in overtime. There's just nothing he can do. And he has seen the puck so well. He is so confident right now, and that's all very positive. So you are starting to see what I believe is this transition, right? There's a succession plan happening, if you will, where Joel started out the year as the 1B. He's kind of slowly becoming the 1A. And I think Jordan Bennington understands that. And quite frankly, guys, he's not going to complain. I think he understands the situation. He's got just the most positive attitude about it all. And I think that as he ages a little bit more, he's got a year or two-ish and then he's outside his prime. And then he kind of takes on that bona fide backup, right? And, guys, I don't know if there's a better backup right now than Jordan Binnington because of the attitude. Like I said, the kid loves to be a Blue. He wants to be a Blue. And I think he is okay with giving games to Joel because he understands the whole situation, and I think he still wants to be here.
Joey, I'm looking at the transition that you just spoke about. You talked about Joe Hofer. You talked about Logan Mayu and Philip Broberg leading the team in minutes last night. But at the forwards, Dylan Holloway and Snuggerud led the team for the forwards in minutes. I know Robert Thomas missed some time with his hand or wrist being hit, but are you seeing that transition there as well? These two guys, 10 points, 8 points respectively between the two since the Olympic break. And Dylan Holloway looks like a madman. He looks like a really good hockey player that is going to help this team for the future.
Yeah, Carey, I talked very close with Tony Granato, who coached Dylan Holloway at University of Wisconsin. And, Tony told me when we got him before last season, he said, wait till you see this kid. And, Tony Granato's been around a long time. And he said, if you looked up in the dictionary hockey player, you'd see Dylan Holloway's name because he just does it all. And he does it all with such charisma. He does it all with such a positive attitude. He's always smiling. He is a rink rat. You cannot take him off the ice. He's always in the weight room. He's always wanting to do more, right? And you're starting to see more and more of how that produces on the ice. For Holloway, I know it's been a tough year in some ways, but the poor kid has been dealing with some pretty nasty injuries. You go back to last year when he had that torso injury that kept him out the entire playoffs. That was a full summer recovery. He started the season really hesitant, he told me. He was really nervous. He didn't know how that torso was going to hold up. It took him a while to jump into the season because of that. He finally finds a nice little groove. Then he gets a high ankle sprain. He battles back from that. One game in, he kind of re-aggravates it. They completely shut him down to the Olympic break. But now he's healthy, right? So he's healthy. Can he stay healthy? That's the big question. Because when he is going, I know Thomas and I know Snuggerud are getting their points, and rightfully so. But I see Dylan Holloway as really the engine of that line. And when he is going and he's got that tenacious forecheck and he's physical and he's moving his feet, to me, he complements Robert and Jimmy Snuggerud so well. I don't think those two can go like as effectively as they're going without Dylan Holloway going to the rate he is going. So to me, that's such an engine piece. But Snuggerud's shot, it's there. He's confident. He's throwing it there at every chance he can get from every angle in the world. He doesn't care. That's his gift. You got Thomas's gift. He's a passer. He's a playmaker. So the three of them have found that each of them have their strengths, their individual strengths. Now, how can that individual strength complement the two line mates? So the chemistry certainly is there. They've been a fun line to watch. I really hope they can stay healthy. You mentioned Robert Thomas. He got a little bit dinged up. He is on this road trip, so I do expect to see him back in the lineup tomorrow. Didn't take a lot of face-offs, but he seems like he is going to be good enough to play because when those three are together, again, if you're the Carolina Hurricanes or any opponent moving forward the rest of the season, that's the line you have to circle and get the right matchup because they can hurt you.
Joe, we appreciate the time, man. Appreciate your opinions, your comments. We'll certainly talk to you next week. Have a great
Appreciate you guys as well. You guys have a great week.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Joe. See ya. That's Joe Vitale. You can listen to him tomorrow night with the Blues and the Blues Radio Network alongside Chris Kerber. No action tonight, of course, but tomorrow night the Blues will be in Carolina where they take on the Hurricanes, 6 o'clock. The puck will drop here on 101 ESPN. Biggest question of the day is next.
Fastlane's biggest question of the day. Presented by Banner Construction, the experts in James Hardy siding.
Time for the biggest question of the day here in the Fastlane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marsh, fire away.
All right, so Colton Wong was on Cards territory, and he had some high praise for one J.J. Weatherholt. I want to play this audio and then deliver the biggest question of the day.
Okay.
The guy is special. The kid is absolutely special. Just like his makeup, the way he carries himself, his attitude about how he's trying to get better. You know, he's really good at just accepting the fact that he needs to work more. He needs to get better at a lot of different things. I mean, the guy's special, man. He's going to be a heck of a player. We all know that. And I think that's the coolest thing is, like, he realizes that he's good, but he knows that there's so much more that he can add to his game, man. That's a special trait that a lot of guys don't have. So just watching him, I mean, obviously you watch the bat is incredible. You know, if you're going backside at Roger Dean, that's saying something. How many guys are doing that? So, you know, that's going to play in the big leagues, man. The makeup, the head, you know, him being confident in himself, that's going to play in the big leagues. Defense is going to play in the big league. It's just cleaning up a little bit of things here and there. But he's so young, man. He's going to figure it out, and that guy's going to be special. So St. Louis, be ready, man. JJ's coming.
JJ is coming. Everybody's excited about JJ Weatherholt. Will JJ Weatherholt's presence alone bring fans back to Busch Stadium?
Is he bringing 80?
So have a large family?
90, yeah. How many people? He has a lot of tickets he got to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Is he bringing 90 wins with him?
Well, so that's part of it, right? Are fans coming back simply for wins? Or do they want to see young players, specifically JJ Weatherholt, play baseball? And they'll pay to watch him play baseball.
I do think, yeah, go ahead, Carey.
I just said yes.
Oh, all right. I agree. I do think there's a portion of the fan base that's kind of like us, that's excited to watch something new. This isn't the same front office, so the unknown is now more interesting than what the known has been, and what the known has been really tired. Right? It's been stale. What Mo was doing over the last couple of years, I think he led to a fan base that started to get checked out. I do think a portion of the fan base will be interested in going to games again because of the young talent. This would be the start of perhaps something down the road that could be great again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think there is there's intrigue to somebody like JJ Weatherholt. Will he alone pull fans to the stadium? No. Wins will pull fans to the stadium. Period.
Agreed.
I think we need to be realistic about this.
Yeah,
and
I mean, it can be exciting to. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
It can be exciting to watch talent, young talent, do some really, really cool things, some remarkable things. But at the end of the day, winning is, and 314 just took the words out of my mouth. Winning is the only thing that matters. As I was saying it, they finished typing it because that's what people want to see. That's what people pay for.
Mm-hmm.
People pay for championships, man. You know what I mean? They want to see people play well, win games, have fun, win championships, put your team and your organization, your favorite team in a position to be in the playoffs, and there's nothing like October baseball. So having those moments here in St. Louis, I think fans are yearning for that. And so if JJ can be a part of that, as well as the other players and all the guys, then yeah, I think it'll be a great year.
Yeah.
But I don't think people are going to show up to see him and win, have a 4-6-3 double play.
No.
That's it. Man, did you see that? That was... Yeah, they lost 10-2.
Yeah, it's got to coincide with winning.
That you can have a really cool. It could be top 10 plays of the week.
Sure,
but that ain't bringing me out to watch a game every night.
And you know what? This fan base is this is a really great baseball city, as we all know. Mm-hmm. And I promise you, I'm not placating right now. It's a great fan base. Winning doesn't have to be a 100-win team. It doesn't have to be a 90-win team. It can be competitive, and the fans will show up again because they appreciate good baseball. they're a smart, sophisticated crowd, which is why the fans started to dwindle over the last 5-6 years. They knew what the front office was doing.
They saw the writing on the wall.
You're slapping a cheap coat of paint on this thing and telling me it's a brand new experience.
Foundation is cracked, man.
Yeah.
You don't see it?
Until their heroes stepped up. One Anthony Stalter held that front office accountable.
You know,
him and him alone, man.
I did. Listen, it wasn't me alone, okay?
That's all right. You can be humble about it.
Was it me alone that day? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. But I feel like I had, Marsh, the spirit of St. Louis behind me.
So we have a few text messages rolling in.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
314 says, JJ gets people to watch on TV. Winning gets people in the seats.
I'll buy that. I like that. I'll buy it.
Ball game. Says CD. You don't like defense anymore. Laughing emoji.
Oh, no.
I love defense.
You've been the defensive matriarch guy.
I'm a defensive guy. What are you talking about? Yeah.
You walk around
I want to see a 4-6-3 double play. I don't think that's going to, it's cool. Winning is cooler. if it's the last 2 outs of the 9th inning to win the game, hell yeah, sign me up.
Right.
Other than that, hey, get out of a jam. Cool. Did you win?
No, sir.
Okay, then. Nobody cares.
314. I mean, this guy, once those fences pulled in, pull those damn fences in. That will get people to the ballpark.
Nah, you're not wrong there.
Home runs did save the game at one point.
It did. And they can do it again.
Different 314. I'm going to read all of these text messages. Dumb. JJ should have been traded for an ace pitcher now before he sucks. I'm not excited until they win.
Wow.
Winning is the only thing that matters. Wins and cheaper tickets, but I only want them to win. Don't want to pay major league prices for minor league talent. This is not a good baseball town. They are sheep. These sheeps don't know baseball. They just want winning.
Holy smokes. Okay. Agree to disagree. But I do appreciate your passion.
Wow.
Holy smokes. All right.
That was a lot.
That was, man.
Tell us how you really feel.
I think he did.
Oh, okay. He sure did.
Yeah. I don't think he left anything to imagination. He told you flat out, this is what I'm thinking. Wow. Basically called us all sheeple.
That's fun. That's harsh.
Mosh, you got any more?
This 314 sent in one. I do not want the fences to come in, but I would not mind if the league legalized steroids.
Well, there's that.
Or you could just...
I don't think they're
could bring that fences.
I don't think they're going to do that.
Do you like the dimensions of Busch Stadium?
Yeah, it's fine. It's very...
baseball-y.
Yeah, it's
cookie cutter.
It is, but I don't care because the backdrop is awesome.
It is a cool backdrop.
I love the backdrop. I love being able to see the arch beyond center field.
If you could add one wonky element to Busch Stadium, obviously Fenway has the Green Monster.
The short porch in right field.
Wrigley has the ivy out there. What would you want that obscure thing to be for Busch Stadium?
Maybe to do
the Yankees guy. He said short porch in right field. That's what you want.
That is a
Would you put a
very short porch? Right?
Would you put a hill out in center field and put a flagpole in the middle of it?
Why not?
Who would do that? What would be dumb enough to do that? We're gonna play old timey baseball. And they're gonna get somebody killed. I wouldn't mind. And this isn't dimensions of the park, but I wouldn't mind them doing something with that grassy knoll in center field.
Where should it be? They can't. That's the batter's eye. You can't throw. You can't have anything there.
Well, maybe it flips when the other team's up. We've got like a disco. We got like a disco night going.
Now, Anthony, you're about the people.
And then the Cardinals are up, and it flips back to grass.
Didn't Major League Baseball already do a disco night?
It did. Yeah, it went well.
It didn't go well at all.
Turns out, no, it did not. All right. Oh, we're done a little early tonight, huh?
Yeah, we got college hoops.
We've got the Patriot League Championship game. 5:45 pregame. Tip-off at 6. Who's playing, guys, you know? Is it like Lehigh or something? Is it a Lehigh game?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
should
is.
be a good game.
It's Lehigh versus Boston U.
You knew it. You called it. You loved it.
The Lehigh
Eagles.
It is a bird, but it's not.
Falcons.
Ravens.
The Mountain Hawks.
Oh, hell.
Not just hawks, but hawks that live in a mountain.
Yeah, those are dangerous.
Yeah. Now, Marsh, you would know this one. Boston University.
Oh, it's the Terriers, of course.
I was going to say Eagles, but that's Boston College.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Yeah, this is Boston University. Very good hockey program.
Yeah.
So, which is why I figured Marsh would know the nickname.
314 wants a moat with sharks around home plate.
I like that a lot. I'll be honest.
Of course you do.
Yeah. The Sharks are just cool. Not the hockey team.
And the truth comes out.
But the fish.
Yeah, 314 says, we got Big Mac land.
We do.
We do at Big Mac land.
Mm-hmm.
They should give out Big Macs when you hit a home run there. They do, don't they?
Do they?
I don't know. You should.
You know what? I've never
You should get a
sat
Big Mac.
in Big Mac land.
If a Cardinal hits a home run there, what's the point in calling it that?
Don't yell at me. I agree.
You get the entire section.
Mm-hmm.
The entire stadium.
I would like to think that they would.
Entire stadium.
I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean?
Now that McGuire's done, you know, like.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I like
They don't
that.
give out burgers?
They should. Yeah. Absolutely should. Yeah. All right, we'll wrap things up next on 101 ESPN. I love working with Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. It really doesn't matter if you're searching for your next new home or you just have a question about refi. Stewie's there to help. And when I say he's there to help, I mean there's so many different ways that he can help save you money. But perhaps even more important than just the money is that he sets up ways that make things convenient for you. Let's say you are a employer that has, various different jobs. And taxes might be, a bit of a challenge for each and every year because you got to fill out all kinds of different forms. Stewie doesn't look at it as a problem at all. Get him your information. He'll help sort through everything and get you that loan that you're looking for so that you can get that home. Or if now's a good time to refi and you're a client of his, he'll call you back and say, hey, now's the time to jump on it. If now's not a good time to refi, he's not going to just sit there and take your money because, again, he wants to help save you money. I love the bagel loan. It's his own personal creation. If you're borrowing $200,000 or more, qualify for the bagel loan. No closing costs, no lender fees. True story. I called somebody many years ago now and said, hey, do you got no closing costs? You got a program that's got no closing costs or no lender fees? The guy laughed at me. Nobody else does that. Stewie does, though. And it's not a situation where he's baking in the cost someplace else. He's not an airline company, okay? When it comes to Stewie and Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation, you're going to be set up great. Call him, personal cell phone number, same number I call, 314-324-4440. If you miss that number, you can always Google the bagel loan. Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Universal Windows Direct. We are off early today. We have the Patriot League Championship game for you right here on 101 ESPN. Lehigh and Boston University. Pregame starts at 5:45. Tip-off will be at 6 o'clock. If you missed anything from today's show, including our interview with Joe Vitale, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's 101 ESPN mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and all of our shows there, and it's all brought to you by the Schaefer Door Company. The Sports Center update is brought to you by Universal Windows Direct.
If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or on the 101 ESPN app, powered by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The podcast brought to you by Schaefer Door Company. Time to find out what everybody learned today. Carey, what'd you learn?
I learned that apparently you do get a Big Mac if they hit a home run in Big Mac.
Oh, there
Land.
you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Valid ticket, free Big Mac next day. A home run is headed to Big Mac Land.
Makes sense.
It makes all sense in the world. Now, Cardinals, based on the attendance, maybe you can divvy those tickets out to the rest of the good folks at the ballpark.
Be kind. Rewind.
Be kind. Please rewind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. March, what'd you learn?
Well, I learned that the NBA is a non-competitive league. That's what I learned today. Probably knew that before heading into today, but it was that idea was reinforced.
Them boys do not want to compete on a nightly basis.
What I learned is that Mark DeRosa's assistants don't pay attention, and neither does Mark DeRosa.
He might not have been paying attention either. He might have been, we have those meetings where they go over the rules. He might have
no idea.
Might have been asleep, unfortunately.
Marshall, you got through some 3 stars for us?
Yes, I do, Anthony.
It's time for the Fast Lane's 3 stars of the day, presented by Circus Sports. No bet fees ever with the world's largest sports book, now at your fingertips in Illinois and Missouri.
All right, our 3rd star of the day goes out to Big Mac Land.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Love Big Mac Land. The 2nd star of the day goes out to that car that Carey was talking about that I find myself in every single year with these sports franchises.
What's that called? Follow or something? From. That's what it was, yeah.
He hit a tree and he had to go around and just keep going. He get out.
And our 1st star of the day goes out to the most accountable person in St. Louis, Anthony Stalter.
Oh, guys, thank you. Boy.
He's the reason why this franchise, the St. Louis Cardinals, will be World Series winners.
Look directly at Anthony.
This year.
Well, I don't know about this year.
Oh.
But maybe. Maybe. Yeah, in case anybody's confused by that. A lot of people demanded that I hold the team accountable, and drove down to Busch Stadium one time, and I just rolled down my window and I shouted, "Be better!"
Did it work? It's working.
Out. It's working. We're seeing the progress right now. That's for sure.
Good job, man.
Carey, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Patriot League Championship. Pre-game, 5:45. Tip at 6. Right here on 101 ESPN. That's why we're getting out a little early. Some good college basketball action throughout the course of the week, leading up to Selection Sunday. I'd mentioned this before, but don't forget, you can get signed up to play this year's Bracket Madness Pick'em Challenge at 101 ESPN. Completely free to enter, and the winner this year receives a $250 Amazon gift card and a 101 ESPN prize pack. So head to Bracket Madness now at 101ESPN.com. Bracket Madness refreshed by Bud Light. I think we got Jamie on for an hour tomorrow, perhaps, when he's on the road, but sometimes he's got internet issues when he gets traveling.
In Canada.
Typically in Canada, but didn't he say something about Carolina too?
Who knows? I don't know.
Jamie's a funny guy. We all know that. For Jamie Rivers, for Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter. Everybody have a great night. Appreciate you listening. We'll be back tomorrow at 2. See you.